Hi there, mate.
Hello, mate. I had myself on mute. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's alright, no worries.
I was speaking.
Alright, it's alright. Yeah, it's all a little bit late planning, isn't it? All sort of thrown together last minute, but never mind.
Yeah. What happened to Scott? How come he's not commentating?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't have a clue really. He just said he was getting in at 1:30, and I was like, well, people will hang on like 10-15 minutes last race of the season. I thought he'd just made sure he was on, but no, he said he hasn't had any food or anything and just wants to have his tea. I don't know if he's maybe not prepared like the screen displays and stuff, possibly. I don't know.
Yeah, I could always stream and he could co-commentate. Yeah, but like if he's hungry and all that, then fair enough, because like you need your energy during the race, don't you?
Well, yeah, I suppose so. But I would have happily let him do it. Like he's obviously the normal one. He just Nate said if I was free, I could do it. But I'm not. I wasn't fussed. I said to Scotty, if you wanted to do it, just like say, and people could hang on for him. But, never mind.
Yeah, it's a shame he can't commentate. I was looking forward to commentate for the last race of the season.
Yeah. Well, I'll just quickly find this stuff. And is everyone in? Are we good to go? Have you got the stream loaded up and stuff?
There's 19 drives in here. I don't know if one more person is joining, but we're not readying up just yet. But do you know Ruff the next day one? Is he a new driver or is he under a different PSN?
Who's that? Sorry.
Ruff the next day one.
I've only just seen him, but I think he's a reserve, and I think he's in for someone. 1 second. I'll find out who that is. I've just seen it on a list somewhere saying Ruff, you're in for someone. Let me find it. Pitboard. Grid changes for Bahrain. Yogurts in the Alpha, Wheelo in the Alpine, and Ruff in the Haas.
Yeah, I think he's in. I've not seen him unless he's under a different PSN, like he's had a different PSN before. Wheelo, he's here. Nice to see him back. He's in the Alpine.
Yeah, I've just seen Twitch's Ruff 1, PS Ruff the next day 1. This says Ruff. There's no like visual of any other names he goes by, any pseudonyms. So I think he might be new.
Shifter Smokes is back. Robbie is back as well, I think. Who else did we have last time out? Yogurt, we didn't have him last time out. Is Seep here? And McLaren. Yeah, he's here, just last in my queue, so I'm not sure if we're waiting for one more driver or if we're just waiting for something else, but looks like Griff's readied up.
I was going to say, yeah, I think people have started. Oh no, Nathan's the host, isn't he?
Yeah.
Where's the other Aston? Is there another Aston there?
Who's typically in the Aston?
Oh, Robbie. CPR Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie, sorry. The Ferraris are there, the Alpines are there, Alpha Tauris, Alfa Romeos.
One season I've been taking.
Oh yeah, no, Red Bulls are there too. I can't fathom out which car it is that.
Williams, it's Williams. Who's typically next to Jeroen? It's Mr. BT, I think, sometimes in the Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. BT's not here.
It'll be Mr. BT. Yeah.
I know he typically joins late recently. I'm not quite sure why, if he's got work or anything or college, but yeah, he typically joins late, so we might see him midway through qualifying.
Yeah, that's a point actually. I've been talking to BT about. I've got a rig, but he lives like southeast London, and I'm in like northeast England, so it's a bit of a trek, and it's going to be a bit of a chew on like boxing it all up to send it down. I'll have to see.
So the championship, let's have a look at that. I've got it downloaded. So there's only a battle for P2. I think Rudy's too far behind to try and get Ps. So what's the gap?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think 33 is second place, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Pease is already third. That's set in stone as a minimum. Rudy can't do anything to him there. Cameron Dowds can only get to Rudy in fourth if Cameron wins it and Rudy DNFs. He's 40 points shy of him. Yeah, that's right. He'd finish 2-3-1.
Yeah, that'd be a little bit difficult. I think it's like Yeah, Rudy's too quick for that, and I don't think he'll DNF. So he's quick. Rudy is.
You wouldn't expect it. You wouldn't expect so, but it'd be a mammoth race if he did. But there's a couple of little scraps around from like sixth and seventh. Mark and Nathan. And Denge would need something big, but him and T-Griff have got a little battle on with him and Seeb as well. Ferg as well, actually. And Bumpier, you could put them all in the same bracket. They're all pretty close. Is Ferg racing? I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Okay. Right, mate, I'll shut up while you start things off.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to CRL for round 15 of the Bahrain Grand Prix, the final race of the season. And what a track to do so. This track provides plenty of action throughout the whole of CRL, especially last season when we saw a fantastic last lap battle between Total Peas and Juvas as they fought it out for first place. Let's see if we can see some of that happening tonight as well. Alongside me, Fandango. Nice to see you again, mate.
Hi, thanks for having me again. Over the moon to be involved on the last day of the season. It's up to be a good race. Absolutely guaranteed to be a good race, actually. I love Bahrain. We've already seen it in tiers 3 and 4 as well. They were pretty special ways to end the season, so hopefully we're in for another good one.
Track first introduced back in 2004. We had different layouts as well around the track, especially in 2010 where we had that long route, but I think in 2012 we went back to our normal route. I remember that 2010 long route there, especially in the games as well. It's just a long track. We've got different layouts, like three different layouts around this Bahrain circuit. That long layout, the short layout, then the normal layout, which is this one. And I think this one's the best layout of all of them, don't you think?
Yeah, I would agree. Two so far that looks like they're going to be opting for mediums, unless that's just the way that the board's presenting on the left hand side for Q1. But we did see that last week where someone wants to come out and get the medium run out the way, although it says Rudy's an intermediate, so maybe that isn't quite accurate.
Yeah, I know. In long qualifying sessions, people go on the intermediates just to like get a few laps away and go on the softs and mediums later. So I think I don't know what strategy is here. It's quite interesting, this one, because I remember in the recent games or patches, if the strategy was like soft or hard or medium to hard, but obviously these patches, I think majority of the tracks are soft or medium on medium to soft. So you barely see the hard tyres being used here anymore. I think the tyre wear is too good.
You can definitely do a soft medium round here. There was a few I noticed in the other races. There was quite a few soft hard runners, and obviously any safety cars just blow that all out of the water as well. So that'll be an interesting one. Certainly turns 1 and 2 normally add to a little bit of drama at one point. And obviously you got the weavings. Is it 6, 7, and 8 as well? That is the S section in sector 2. That normally provides some pretty interesting racing as well. So. It'll be interesting to see the strategies, whether or not whether corner speed will be better, or whether under they will play for the long game.
Exactly, and like you said in the championship, that's to Griff, Seeb, Ferg and Bumpier are all close together, barely anything separates them. It's about 5 points from Griff in P9 to Bumpier in P12. I think all 4 of them are here tonight, so it's all to play for 9th and 10th in the let's see if they can get us in the top 10. On board with Griff is the first man out there on the medium compound tyres. Had a good season today, not this season, Griff. I was talking to him about a few weeks ago, and yeah, he said he likes racing. The competition is quite high in CRL Tier 1. He's been managing to do well. He's got his best result in Abu Dhabi. It was P5 he finished there, I think, when I was commentating with Orange and Gamma, but he heads into a heavy braking zone. They're pivotal to get this fight because it's easy to go out wide through here. It costs a lot of time as well in the first 2 corners. Gets turn 2 right, going into turn 3, he's a lot of curb on the entry. DRS enabled then for the second DRS zone. Out of the 3, we'll see plenty of opportunities to overtake around into this particular part of the track. Turn 4 locks up on entry, goes a little bit wider than he would have wanted, but early stages qualified, the track is not at its best. This is green is the track will get better and better on during the qualifying session. Plus it's on the medium compound tyres as well, so I don't expect anything spectacular on the medium compound tyres. Going into turn 8, then slight lock up. Cameron Downs is right behind him, but hopefully it won't affect him too much. Double left-hander turn out of turn 10. You want a straight line of braking, make sure you don't lock up too much. I remember in the older games people used to lock the rear tyres up all the time. Going into turn out of turn 10 then as we make our way into the third DRS zone. Going down at turn 11, we saw Danny Antonio Giovinazzi crash there in 2019. And there's Mr. BT, and like I said, he joins very late, doesn't he?
He did call that, actually, yeah. But it's good to see him here. Nice to see that he could make it for the last race.
And made 20 drivers then up. And Pyro's retired. He's crashed at the exit of turn 8. I think he hit that curb on the outside and hit the barrier. So unfortunately, Pyro has been caught by that barrier, by that curb there, unfortunately been hit in the barrier. I remember Lewis Hamilton doing that in 2008, and to Griff then opts to go in the pit lane then to not complete that medium run. We'll see then who is the next man to cross the line. But do you find that corner difficult? Because I used to. It used to catch me out quite a lot, actually, that corner.
Sorry, what corner is that? I wasn't on the same... I was just watching JR at the time.
The exit of turn 7, the outside curb.
Oh, right, yes, absolutely. The end of the S section that we were just talking about, actually, before the stream, isn't it, in Sector 2? Yeah, it's a lethal little S section, that. It feels nice to get through it, certainly, but it's quite easy to get it wrong, too, especially when there's a lot of cars on the track. I've just seen ASWR set a middle sector, a middle purple sector for Sector 2, and Sector 3 puts himself second on the track, 2/10 behind the current fastest man on track. So P2, but there's only 2 laps being done thus far.
Shifters Mercy, I think he's claimed 2 pole positions this season and he's currently up there in P1. Some people have validated their lap times, someone gone back in the pit lane. Taze Leroy, I'm on board with. I think quite hook up turn 7 as you would have wanted. Has a slight lock up in turn 8 then as he exits the corner then as we make our way down into turn 9 and turn 10. A lot of people have struggled recently in the past to get this corner. Absolutely right. It's a clumsy little corner, this one. You have to straight line the brake and make sure the front end of the car sticks in. And the exit of the corner then Taze Leroy makes his way onto the third DRS zone. Might see some opportunities to overtake as Jogger puts it to 40.8 on the intermediates, but yeah, obviously you're going to change over to the dry compound tyres later. But Taze Leroy then makes his way towards turn 12, and a lot of people have also in the past have got caught out. I think a lot of people know to avoid that now in turn 12. I've been caught out by that. Have you, Fandango? Yeah.
Yeah, very, very easily done. I was just on board with Cameron Dowes. He set the fastest lap with a 125, the first person in the 125 so far this session. It looked pretty smooth coming around that back final turn, so that looks like, well, it literally is the time to beat at the moment, but the first lap that we've seen, which is sub 126.
Decent lap time.
Q1.
Yes,
yeah.
It is a lap time, in fact. A lot of people I know in different leagues have set 25, so early stages of Q1 then track will get greener and track evolution will kick in as well, so we'll hopefully see some more fast lap times, but 5/10 already between Cameron and Shifters. Under 5/10 is like a start to the qualifying session. You could possibly go back a bit later and retire. So interestingly, in the early stages of this qualifying, quite a few people on the pit lane, aren't there? I thought to be out there getting the early run to the Q1.
Yeah, maybe they're just wanting the tractors to bed in a little bit more before they come out. I can sort of see what Yoggurt was thinking as well, just coming around, just get a little bit of a feel of the track and just get his bearings, go back in and then come back out again. That's probably not a bad shout, to be honest. But yeah, maybe there's a few just waiting for the track to speed up a little bit and try and utilise the tyres in just the one run, keep the fuel low.
Yeah, we've got Rough the next day then, new driver then making his debut for CRL in the last race as we make our way into the turn 6 and turn 7 complex there. That's 30 point something in the first set, so I think he's backed out that lap time because he's not really pushed it on that lap, so yeah, he's backed out that one. AJ, I think he's going to go back in the pit lane. He's already done a run with a 26.9. I think he might have to improve that. He's a whole second off of Cameron Dowes there, so I think he might have to try and come back at the pit lane and trying to improve that lap time. I've got Nathan out there on the mediums. Oh, my timing boards have gone. No, they haven't. Yeah, I was a bit confused there because you can see from P7 downwards in this qualifying stages, like a lot of people have said that lap time. Cameron Dowes said has retired from the session, so he knows, he's confident, and that lap time will get him through to Q2.
You know when you know, don't you? You always have a little bit of a feel of the car and you know what sort of standard you've got in you. And if you've put a lap that you're pretty proud of, the chances are, well, usually it's good enough to get through Q1.
Yeah, Cameron Dowes typically going through to Q3 and he's had pole positions here before in CRL then, so he's one of the drivers that definitely knows he can get himself into Q2. But yeah, hopefully we'd have a situation like last week where a surprise knockout, let's just say, for Toto P's when he started out at pit 16. The race didn't go his way with safety cars coming out the wrong time, and Walter was able to take advantage of that because the battle for P2 then is still on between Walter Blau and Toto P's. And let's see that, I think the gap between those two is 21 points. I dare say Toto P's will have to have a miracle if Walter does retire. He has to finish P2 upwards to have a chance to finish P2 in the drivers. I remember last year, I think it was Toto P's, last season, sorry, Toto P's and Giroud Visser was fighting for P2, but now it's Toto P's versus Walter, as Giroud Visser is crown champion in the last race. He did a fantastic job. Mr. BT in P3, then Wheelo, good lap time from him. He's a P2 in the Alpine, a new upcoming driver as well, I've seen, and Mr. BT then in P3. And this track is, I think it's good for pad users, isn't it?
I believe so. That's word on the street. I am on a wheel, so they're all bad when you're not very good on the wheel. But I'm learning. But yeah, I think there's certain tracks that obviously suit pad more than they do wheel, and vice versa. And I believe that this is more a pad track. I think that's true. Oh, someone's gone off track. As I was on board with Ferg, just passing someone that's off the side of the track. I don't know if that was the wrong mistake or they were getting out of the way for faster cars or hot lap cars. Two Alpines behind each other on track here. Ferg and Wheelo, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Ferg, his typical teammate was Andreas. Andreas then is not appearing unless Wheelo is Andreas, of course. But yeah, both Alpines then, they're working so well together.
Yeah, give him a good old tour down the straight there at the back. So
they've done
Ferg
that
will
whole.
be appreciative of that.
They've done that the whole season, both Alpines giving each other a lovely tow. So Wheelo then is helping out his teammates. Pease then goes quickest to Mercedes 1-2, and I dare say Pease then is definitely safe towards Q2. That was a good lap time of Mercedes driver. I think he won last time out at the Bahrain Grand Prix, so I think it's one of his favourites coming into this race as Walter puts his Haas in P5. Ferg had a massive wheel spin coming out the final corner. He makes his way towards the line. It's a 26.1, decent lap time. Wow. So he did lose time in that final corner, but there's a lot of time to be found with that mistake coming out the final corner then.
Yeah, absolutely. A 26.5 is like a brilliant lap. Like the things dreams are made of. So to go sub 26 in Q1 is pretty sharp. I'm eager to see what they can do come Q3. How much they can actually shave off these initial times.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what lap times they'll set. Will it be a 25.5? I think that's probably the best lap time we'll see, but there's a lot of time to be found with Cameron Downs and Total Pease doing the one lap, just a one lap only, and already get themselves a decent lap time on the board. So I can't wait to see how this qualifying session unfolds as Dream Visitor is in P7 with a 26.2. I think Dream Visitor told me a few days ago that he is going no assist, so if he does struggle, I expect him to struggle with no assist, not due to the track itself. So if he doesn't do, if you don't see him up there, that probably explains why he's struggling a little bit. But Robbie out there then on the soft compound tyres, you see that?
Just seen him lose the back end ever so slightly there, Robbie. Not by much. It was a decent lap up to that point. I think he had a purple first sector. But yeah, just looked like he'd lost it ever so slightly at turn 10, whether the downhill turn. It's pretty tough to get grip there at the best of times, but he seems to be travelling pretty well at the moment. Oh, very, very close to invalidate his lap also at the back straight there after turn 13. 2 more to go. Let's see what he can do. He's valid. The lap is still valid. Pretty gold helmet. And he's got one on. I'm not calling him one. And that's P9. Not bad. 126.4 for Robbie. Puts him in P10. So, Nathan and the rough one is the rough next day. It looks like them two are going to be coming back out rather shortly. And Yogurt's already out now on his softs, so he'll be setting a lap time soon as well.
Seavorg Gamer popped in a really good lap time of a 26.4, then up into P4. He has usually struggled through qualifying, especially when it comes to Q2 and Q3 stages then. I think it was just the pressure wrapping up at the very last moments, having to put the lap times in, but he's done a fantastic lap time in P4. I think he's picked up a podium this season, has Seavorg Gamer, and Head Bompier. I'm not quite sure if he's picked up a podium this season. Might have done, but yeah, hopefully he'll have a good race this one, because I know he's been struggling in the past few races as Head Bompier. I think Seavorg Gamer, I think he took a pole position this season, not a podium, and unfortunately he dropped backwards because just couldn't settle into a first, when it comes to the first lap, just couldn't get into a rhythm. So hopefully it'll work out for him. But Head Bompier, they're coming out of turn number 11 and coming into turn number 12, staying off that inside curve. Then turn number 30, they're 1/10 up in the middle sector. That 1/10 will probably get him up to like P10, unless he finds more time in that last sector. Then purple middle sector for him, gets a good exit out turn 13. Now coming into turn 14 and turn 15. Coming into turn 14 here, they hit the inside curve, straight up the car up, and it's just a mad dash all the way down to the finish line. The DRS enabled, let's see what lap time he could do. It's a 26.4, and he pops himself in P11 there behind Shifters Merksy, who is going for the lap on those set of soft compound tyres. And where's Yogurt? Then Yogurt is out there somewhere. He has
invalidated Yogurt. Yeah, he has. He's invalidated. I'm afraid I've just been on board with Yogurt coming around his last turn now. I don't know if he's going to put enough fuel in. It looks like he's got plenty of fuel in to go around again, so... but he does need to set a time. There's 4 minutes 47 to go. That's only probably a couple of laps if he stays out. Will he get time to go round, come back and get back out? If he makes a mistake this time, not too sure. Be close.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to go on a brand new set of soft. Oh, made a mistake again. He's spun. That's where Raikkonen spun in 2021 last season, and hopefully those tyres are still in good condition. He's done 2 laps on them, and those tyres will have a bit more wear now due to that spin. So if he's got enough time to come back in the pit lane, yeah, I think he has got enough time.
Yeah, I think he does. He won't have a lot of time once he's in there to change his tyres and get back out. I wouldn't have thought, but yeah, I think at 4 minutes you've still got time. But not ideal for Yoghurt, considering Jeroen has he's happy with that, or is he's just retired from the session? So Jeroen's obviously happy enough with his time, also over 26.2. It's what 3/10 being the top 10, isn't it? I've just worked, just seen it's only 1.3 tenths between all of the top 4 drivers. Considering how long the lap is, a minute and a half, it's pretty that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's always close here.
Minute and a half's worth of driving for a minute and a half's worth of driving absolutely flat out to be less than a couple of tenths away from each other's. Yeah.
Look at BT, P2. He's just set a 25.9, but is that on a brand new set of the soft powered tyres? Is he using more than 2 sets? Because he's definitely safe in Q1. Does he have to sacrifice a set of soft powered tyres? Might I don't know, maybe could cost costly Q2 and Q3 when he needs to use them.
I think, we don't know if he's maybe just trying to get some laps under his belt, because I know he's joined late, so he might not have had as much practice as maybe some just prior to the event, so he might just want to have a couple of runs and sacrifice the softs in the race. But yeah, you're right, I don't know whether it was actually needed in the end.
Yeah, I was on board with AJ. He made a mistake with that turn 1 and instantly baptised lap time, so I think he's got 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock to try and improve on a lap time. Taze Leroy locks up in the final corner then, as he desperately needs a lap time to get outside the elimination zone as he makes his way towards the line. Now it's going to be a 26.6, and that's not good enough. He does improve, but not improved enough to try and get himself away from that elimination zone. So he's run out of fuel, and there's 2 minutes and 25 seconds left to go. I'm not quite sure if we could get a lap time in.
Well, yeah, it's too. Yeah, to get in the pits and get back out now is probably not doable. Just on board with Nathan as well. He is currently with a 127.5 and down in P18. He'll get a chance to get this lap in, but I don't think he's got time to get a second one after it. Maybe half a minute left. No, that won't be long enough to finish this lap off, I wouldn't have thought. So this is his final attempt. He's just on sector 2 at the moment.
Yeah, desperately need a lap time to get outside the bottom zone. Mr. BT has retired in the pit lane. He knows he's safe. Then the top 10 have retired as they're all safe. The rough next day is out there. Someone on the track going for a lap time. He's in P11. Robbie's on an out lap, so he feels like he's not safe. Neither is Het Bob as well, down in P12. De Griff is still in the pit lane. He needs to get himself out there because he could be in the danger zone. Yoga has got a P15 in the Alpha. Is that going to be enough? He knocks out his teammate, but here comes the Aston Martin of Nathan making his way towards the line, and it's P10 then, so I dare say he's safe.
Yeah, that would have likely be good enough. I tell you what.
Oh, has Yoghurt crashed? Yoghurt's crashed at turn 3. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He has crashed. He will not, despite making it through, he will not participate in the next upcoming qualifying sessions, despite making it through to Q3. So I think to Griff, yeah, that's it for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, just passing the line as well, it looks like JR has decided he can't stay out for another run, so it looks like he's also out. Taze Leroy is out, and then we've got AJ, who is trying to fight his way out of there. He's on a lap at the moment, I believe. It looks like his second lap, so he's coming around the long straight after turn 13. 2 to go.
Let's see if this could be an improvement, because to Griff there decided to stay in the pit lane, and it turns out to be a right choice there, because I thought he'd get knocked out by these guys behind. But 35 seconds left to go. AJ does not have enough fuel to go for another lap time, so unfortunately he is knocked out. SW Joshua has also validated it, and he hasn't got enough fuel, so to Griff is safe. And the people who are knocked out is Yoga, Joshua, Taze Leroy, AJ, and Pyro, who crashed very early in the session, crashing down at turn number 7.
I don't think Robbie knows that, because it looks like he's pretty much still going flat out in P4. No, he isn't. He's jumped into the pits. Maybe he's had the word now. But yeah, he's jumped into the pits and not bothered finishing the lap, because yeah, he is through. Not bad P1 really. Q1, sorry. In terms of pace on the track, looks like it's going to be interesting.
Pease then leads the way in P1 then. Mr. B2 setting a fantastic lap time in P2 with Cameron Dowds in P3 then. 3 drivers in the 23s. Wheelo on his debut for CRL in P4. C4 game in P5. Shifters Merksy P6. Ferg P7. Rudy P8. Walter P9 and Nathan getting himself inside the top 10. Javun in P11 then. So Q2 is going to be interesting because Javun is in P11. But can he improve in Q2 to try and get himself inside the top 10? And Head Bobby C Bobby as well in P14. As Cameron Dowd's dad is in the chat supporting his son as always, the young Scotsman doing a good job in P3 with his Mercedes teammate in P1.
Yeah, absolutely. He stuck a pretty impressive lap in early doors, so you tell that he's been doing his homework this week in terms of track time. Mr. BT as well, it's all top 3, putting it sub 26, which is, well, they knew early doors that they were very comfortably through, didn't they? All retiring pretty quickly. Yeah, very good. Very good pace. Right the way down, really. Even to P15, it's only, again, a few tenths, isn't it? 5, all in half a second.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Who's gone through. Yeah.
Pinnacle of CRL. I'm surprised by Taze Leroy in P18 there, just get knocked out of Q1, so fortunately couldn't hold the lap together. Both Alfa Romeos down in P16 and P17. Yogurt, he has got an excuse. He's a wheel driver, but he is using the pad, so that explains why he's losing the race there.
If he's actually done that time, the 26 and a half on the pad, and despite he normally uses the wheel, and that's actually like unbelievably impressive, actually, despite him going out in Q1, so it's very unlucky for him.
I don't think anybody should feel down about themselves because it is so close, isn't it?
Oh, it's an incredible. When you get to tier 1, tier 2, I would even say, I suppose there's not many tiers that you couldn't say it now, especially that the standards are so high right across all of the tiers, but there's not much room for error now in CRL. Is that what I've found out over the last few seasons, is that people are really knuckling down and trying to know tracks back to front, and you get so many fast drivers spread around these tiers that really you can't afford even the littlest slip up. You're not going to be the fastest on track, you know that. There's no room for error, which I think makes it as exciting as it is.
Yeah, it's exciting when Ferg and Duval was driving. Exciting when Drew won the championship and Wouter as well. So ever since I commentated for Cohen Racing League, it's been fantastic and a pleasure to drive. So Q2 then, if you get inside the top 10, if you start the tyres, you set your fastest lap outside the top 10, that's the tyres you start on. And you can see the majority of the drivers have opted to go for the soft compound tyres. Barring 2, Cameron Dowds and Wheeler are on the medium compound tyres. I don't expect some to go on the soft straight away because they use the medium compound tyres in Q1. They get rid of those tyres and having a bunch of softs for Q2 and Q3 then. So Cameron Dowds is coming out the pit lane and he has chosen to go on the medium compound tyres. That could all change because he could be waiting for the track evolution to kick in and wait for the clock to tick down, and they've got the soft compound tyres later on in the qualifying session, get rid of those mediums straight away.
Yeah, unless they're just throwing them around for one lap maybe and bedding them in a bit. I don't think many people do that, do they? But I do. But yeah, if he could start on mediums, it would be a preference. But if I'm being honest, I think there's too much time between mediums and softs to be able to go through on mediums in this track. I think that everybody running on softs will be faster than mediums, even if they nail the lap. In my opinion, but it'd be interesting to see somebody prove me wrong. I'd be very interested to see that if someone goes through on mediums.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest, because I think there's like a 7 or 8 turns deficit on the softs to mediums, and yeah, like you said, if anybody nails a lap on the mediums, I think the soft people will be quicker than them anyway. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Even if they don't necessarily nail it, I just think that like a smooth lap on soft makes it very difficult for a medium to beat them around here. I think just because of the speed, high speed turns. There's quite a few. I was talking to you about that S section as well, and the downhill to get grip and stuff. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll be over the moon if someone proves me wrong. I really will be. And Shifter's Mercy, as you said, is already pretty sharp, so he might be confident doing it. Rudy, we know, has got plenty of pace, and Cameron's also having a go as well. Who's currently, where's Cam? Is he 5th in the championship? I think we were talking beforehand as well that there's little battles going all over the place. But if you look at Cam, Nathan, and Mark, I think one's 1-9. Yeah, Cam's on 1-9-1. Nathan's on 1-8-9 in 6th position, and Mark's on 1-7-6. So all of them can change their places tonight. So it's all still to play for 5th, 6th, and 7th as well. So little pockets of battles going on, and of course we've already mentioned Wouter and Pease there at the top to see if they can swap positions from 2nd and 3rd as well. So yeah, all still to play for.
Now you mentioned Mark, and yeah, I know Mark is not here tonight. I just remember. Thank you for that, Fandango. Yeah. So Yoga is replacing Mark because I think Mark has a meeting or something. So hopefully he's all right, and he's watching the CRL race soon. It's a 4.9 for Head Bob. He's one of the first drivers that Mr. BT is a 27.1. So I dare say not representative. So T Griff goes first place with 26.6 because Mr. BT did a 25.9, so that's definitely way off the pace, whether he's just did a bank a lap or just made a mistake somewhere. But we've got Head Bumpy there making his way towards the line. Let's see what lap time he can produce. It's going to be a 26.3 and pops himself into P1 then, so you can see a bit of gaps through there. Maybe people are making mistakes. It looks like Mr. BT is going for a consecutive lap time. Yes, he is, but the problem is doing 2 consecutive lap times that the tyre's very hot. There's more chance of sliding around because it's got to be an optimum window for 1 lap only. If you do 2 laps in a row, it'll be very difficult. It's not like the old game where you can go for different lap times because the tyres don't heat up as much and therefore you can push as hard as you can. But in this game, you can only do 1 fly lap on the set of sauce. So you can do a push, cool down, push, but push is not the option. Cranbourne Downs goes P3 with a 26.9 and second off his soft pace. So you can see the massive deficit there, can't you, Fandango?
Yeah, it's not a bad lap, to be fair to him. I was just on board with Wouter there, actually. I was just about to say that he's gone purple 2 and 3, so he should be putting a good lap in. Sub 126 again for him. Yeah, as you say, it's about a second, isn't it, from the fastest on the track now to Cameron, who is got the potential to be the fastest on the track with a nailed lap. So it's probably self-explanatory, that one. But there's no harm in getting a lap in anyway, all the same. And the people behind you still have to do it. They still have to actually do it.
Yeah, I think I've just seen both Alpines giving each other a snitch. No, both Williams, in fact. I think that's Mr. BT giving us. Yeah, so Giroud Visa, they got a lovely tow from Giroud Visa. I get confused with the Alpine and Williams colours for some reason. I'm not quite sure if it's just my screen there.
Love the Williams.
We've got the rough the next day, then on a lap time in the house. Let's see what he can do on his debut. Decent Q1 session for him. Had no struggles making it through to Q2 then, so let's see how his middle sector is. He's fueled the car for 1 lap only, so he can't make any mistakes, otherwise I have to go back in the pit lane. It's a 5.1 in the middle sector. You can see there, oversteer coming out the corner. I think he took too much curb, which would set off the rear of the car. Could get on the throttle as early as he would have wanted. Now makes his way towards the final corner, braking before the 50-metre board. Get the car in. Get flat out to the car straight up, and let's see what lap time he could set in the Haas. Then he's going to be near his teammate. It's going to be a 26.6, and he goes P4 then. So quite different tyres to what we saw in Q1.
Yeah, I'm just having a little look at Euron at the moment. He's on softs, just coming round. He's set a purple sector 2 as well. Coming around turn 13 at the first corner in sector 3. He's borrowed a little bit off the Aston Martin as well in front of him on track. I think, is that Nathan maybe on an outlap? I'm not sure.
It was Robbie.
Robbie on Robbie out on track. So he's got a little bit off him. What's it going to be as he passes the line? This is your own for the Williams. Can he put himself in P? No, he can't put himself P1. He's a 126.4, which by his standards, dare I say that that's not as fast as he would probably expect of him on the softs.
I think his Q1 time, if I remember, was 26.2, so he's 2/10 off, despite getting a lot of tow from his teammate Mr. BT there, who is out there on the track. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He got one hell of a tow in Q1, to be fair, so that might be that could be the 2/10 difference. Maybe that was just as quick. It was probably just a little bit more of a tow first time round. But yeah, who's at the side of the track? That's the Ferrari of T Griff. I think he just let them pass. No, T Griff looks like he's on an outlap. It must be the other one. Rudy, yeah, Rudy's letting them all past. He's had 2 laps of mediums now, so he'll be probably making his way slowly around in the pits to come back out and have his soft runs.
Yeah, I'm on board with him.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, he's on the medium compound tyres then, so it looks like Rudy and shifters might be committed to this medium compound tyres. 5.6 in the middle sector there. They ain't got a real reference point on what the mediums are, but they've still got plenty of time to opt back into pit lane and put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. And let's see then, as they make their way towards the final corner, locks up slightly on entry, but that wouldn't affect him too much. And as he makes his way towards the line, well, let's see what lap time he could set in that on the medium compound tyres. Yeah, I definitely have to go on the soft compound tyres on the verge of getting knocked out.
I've noticed there that I'm gathering that Cameron wants to start on the mediums. He looks like he's retired there in P7 with 126.9. So the only thing I can think of there is that he is adamant that mediums is the right tyre to start on this track, and that he feels like he can really push the softs later on. Maybe it's just all tactical, or whether or not he's just spent all of his tyres and he's just going to save the tyres now, and he'd prefer to do it that way. I'm not sure, but he's made the decision to stick with a 126.9, which personally I can't see being good enough to get him into Q3.
See, Raw Gamer goes to the top of the board with a 25.8, fastest time received for the whole qualified session then. He'll be a very happy man, and let's see then what he can do in Q3. But yeah, that's very optimistic. Cameron Downs, we saw quite a few people, in fact, all of Q1, everybody set below a 26.9, so I dare say Cameron Downs will get knocked out because of the verge of getting knocked out.
Well, he's like just about now because Pease is passing the line and is knocked out. So Pease has gone P2 with the 125.9, so three of them, with Wouter as well, all going under the 26 mark. So they should be pretty comfortable in the fact that they'll be going through to Q3 again.
On board with Ferg, he's just going for a second lap because I was on board with him in the first lap. He went too wide in the exit of turn 4, and sadly for him has picked up a validation then, so taking more life on the same set of soft compound tyres as he approaches down at turn 1. We'll see what Shifter's doing. He's still there on the track. I wonder if he could come back in the pit lane, but Rudy's in P12 there. He's got the option to go to soft compound tyre because he has retired, but it is quite early to retire in Q2, especially when you're on the medium compound tyres, so he insists he wants to start the mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. He's made that decision, and I don't think it's debatable whether that's a good decision or a bad decision. Sometimes around this track you can get in little trains, and if you get caught at the back of them, it can take quite a few laps to get caught up with someone or to get by them. It's definitely at T1 standard, so I think personally I'd prefer to start higher up, but he's made a decision and he's sticking with it, and I hope it's a good one. I hope it works out for him. But yeah, he's not going to be in Q3. I think Shifter's in the pits at the moment, so they'll be probably coming out on mediums for another go with 5 minutes of Q2 still to go. Wheelo's on an outlap as we speak, just coming around the final corner and starting his lap for the Alpine.
And his teammate is coming towards the end of the middle sector with a 4.5, decent middle sector there for Ferg, just what he needs as well. Go for a second lap on the same set of soft compound tyres then. And he's doing 2 laps, so that means he'll take up more life on his race tyres if he does finish this lap or stay on the same set of softs. He makes his way towards that final corner then, but hesitant going there slightly, but he makes his way then towards the line. Can he get himself inside the top 10? The answer is yes for sure. Yeah, 25.8, so he's definitely safe.
Yeah, he's not a bad lap that, considering it's his second. He'd probably be a little bit disappointed that he didn't go somewhere nearer that on his first lap though, and save that one extra lap. You can see that people aren't too keen on setting more than one, because it is a track where if you're going to try the soft mediums, it's probably the quickest strategy, but you do need tyre management. You can't just go flat out. And it depends again on the safety cars whether or not you get an extra lap or two out of them. So it'll be I'm quite looking forward to some of the strategies, because I don't think everyone's going to follow just one suit by the looks of things. I started on what was I on? Did I start on the mediums? Oh no, I think I didn't. But as a choice, I would start on the mediums personally if I was quick enough to have a chance at Q3. But I prefer to be in Q3. Anyway, Wheelo's setting a time at the moment. He's 127.2 and currently in P15. He needs a 126.68 currently with Rough the next day one. Currently occupying the 10th spot. Has he done it? He's come around the third corner.
Yes, he has.
He's going to get... Oh, God.
Yeah, Alpine 1-2, so both Alpines are looking really strong, and Wheeler on his debut, definitely showing something. He's done a fantastic job in P2 then. So Rough the next day then is currently in P11. So Griff then needs to go out there because on the verge of getting knocked out. He's on the verge of getting knocked out in Q1 because he was in P15. But yet again, he's in the danger spot. Is to Griff. I expect Mr. BT to definitely get a good lap time in, because he did a 25.9 in Q1. His best lap time is a 26.8. So I definitely expect him to get inside the top 10, unless there's a mistake, of course.
Yeah, Mr. BT has just pulled out the pits now. He's just making his way up and around the track to have his last go. I've got the Sector 2 yellow thing. I don't know how long's left of this session. Is it about 2 minutes left of Q2?
Hopefully the yellow flags go.
Again, but I don't think there's a great deal longer than that to go. So all of these on an outlap. Who's on a lap currently? Is Rough the next day on a lap currently?
Yeah, mate, he's just crossed the line. It's Mr. BT's causing the yellow flags. He's just slowing down to get the tyres in the working range of the window. That's a lovely amount of curb he took through there. Rough the next day as he makes his way down towards turn 4 there, breaking the 100-metre ball, get the car turned there, make sure you don't lose traction, upshifting to reduce the wheel spin, using all the track on the left-hand side, then flicking it in through the S's, touching the inside curb there, and avoiding this one. Try not to get too out wide on this curb because Pyro unfortunately suffered the consequences. Coming into turn 8, just a nice little corner there, getting on the throttle immediately as we come down into turn 9 and turn 10, the double right hander flat out to this one, then brake immediately, then down into turn 10, car rotated lovely through there, gets on the throttle immediately with DRS enabled for the third DRS zone. Might not see some overtaking down here because it tends to happen in the first sector as we make our way down into turn 11 then, try not to go too wide and try not to take that outside curve because it will force you off the track. Turn 12, do not hit that inside curve. Plenty of people have done it before in the past. 5.1 in the middle sector then, that it needs a little bit more time in that last sector of the next day.
He was very lucky to not invalidate actually in at turn 13 there. He used all of the track limits, but is it going to be good enough? Is it going to be good enough?
We'll see as he makes his way towards the line, and this will be his last lap due to fuel. It's a 26.4 and he just gets himself inside the top 10 then. To Griff, 110 down in the first sector. Mr. BT has set a purple first sector. Rudy is on his outlap. Shifters Merksy has retired from the session then, so has Cameron Down, so only to Griff, Mr. BT, Rudy can push him out, and to Griff has gone out wide. He gets away with invalidation. Did you see that?
I didn't, sorry, I wasn't on board with him.
Yeah, he went off the track and he just got away with it, did to Griff there, so I dare say he get a lot of time, so let's see what his middle sector.
Where did he get the time? Oh, right, yeah. Yes, he's gone turn 11, the left-hander.
Yeah. No, turn 10. He went off the track. Still kind of continued.
Okay. T-Griff just coming around the final corner now. Is he going to do enough to jump back above Rough the next day, who's just skipped over the top of him?
Oh, yes. It's P10. Rough the next day. If he sees that, will not be happy. Mr. BT goes pole with a 25.7. Wow. The tyres keep from tumbling down, and Mr. BT will be a happy man with that, despite Jordan very late in the session. Then, so Rudy then is going to knock out Giroud Vizza. Giroud Vizza is out there on the track. He's 3/10 up on the time he needs to get himself securely into top 10. Robbie is P8. Giroud Vizza making his way towards the line now. Let's see what lap time he can set. He needs to get himself into P8. P6 he does though, so he's definitely safe. Bonpier is started his last flying lap. And where's the Rough the next day? He's not on a lap time. Rudy making his way.
Rudy is currently just entering sector 3, set a purple sector 2, and it looked like he was a second quicker. That means him as a dead 126. That means that at the moment that would put him in the top 10. It would certainly put him around Robbie's pace. Depends how he gets around these last couple of corners. But is Rudy going to do enough to qualify for Q3?
Wow, we've had a lot of time in the last sector.
Wow.
3/10 he found.
It didn't. Yeah. Oh, is that all it was? I'm forgetting that the actual track's so close that 210s can jump that many places. But yeah, you're right. It is.
Good job to Rudy then.
So yeah, a hell of a job.
Robbie is not on the lap time. Bonpier is on a lap time then, so Robbie hasn't got enough fuel to go for another lap, so all eyes on Bonpier. I don't think Griff is on another lap. No, he's not. So it's all eyes on the AlphaTauri driver to see if Robbie. It looks like he lifted off. No, he's not on a lap time, sorry. Forget that. 10 seconds down in the middle sector. So Robbie there just making it in. Both Aston Martins then inside the top 10, because I thought one of them get knocked out of Q1, judging by the pace. But yeah, did a good job, both of them in Q3.
Yeah, T-Griff's just slowed down as well, so I gather he's just backed out on the lap. So that is him definitely out of Q2. There's only Bonpier who is pulling into the pits, is he? Yeah. There's nobody else on a lap, that's it. Robbie as the final place. Jeroen does a good enough job to get him in to 7, so Mr. PT, Rudy, Ferguilo, CP's, Jeroen, Wouter, Nathan and Robbie are going to be our Q3 then by the look of it, unfortunately. Bonpier was so unlucky last week, you remember? I was in with you last week, wasn't I, as well? I remember a couple of problems was it Spa last week?
Yep, it was, mate.
Yeah, I know he'd had not the best race, so he'll be desperate to get to fix that today. P11, by the way, is not such a bad place because you're honestly the front runners of the mediums, aren't you? If you decide to do that.
That is true.
Which isn't such a bad place to be. If I'm being honest, I don't mind being there. So yeah, but it's not the end of the world. There's still opportunities.
Yeah, Bonpierre then, the leader of the new tyres. Everybody set the best lap time inside the top 10 on the soft compound tyres, but Mr. BT leads the way. He's quite good at this track. I remember last season he was in contention for pole position as well, so you might see a Williams on pole here in Bahrain.
I would say 1:25.7's not bad at all. He's quite sharp. Look at how close the front three are again, though. Dear me.
Yeah.
Amazing, that.
3/10 from first to 10th.
Incredible. Just shows that everyone's learning from each other in the leagues and things as well, though. Looking around, having a look at how other people are taking it, the tracks, and learning from each other, and you can see how close everybody is now as a result of it. A lot of talented drivers.
Incredible to see, really. And we'll see then the top 10 shootout, who will pole position go to. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, but I was going to give it a guess. I'd say Rudy. A bold prediction, Rudy.
Dear Rudy. With a time like that, you couldn't split the front three. But then, even we're only talking 3/10 between the lot of them, and you and I both know that that's just you putting your toe down a little bit later on a corner, or that's just braking that slight bit too late. Is 3/10. That's it gone. So the margin for error, as I was saying before, is minute, absolutely minute. But yeah, if you had to put my money on it, I'm going to go. And I'm going to follow my fellow Williams, Mr. BT. I'm going to back him. I'm going to give him the opportunity. I want him to go and do it. Your own as well. I mean, I've got two pretty impressive drivers there in them too, haven't I? To be honest, the championship winner and Q1's fastest driver. I'll take that.
Ironically,
Q2, sorry.
Ironically, Mr. BT retired altogether from league racing in the Williams and came back. Guess who reminds me that of? Felipe Massa.
All right.
Yeah, he retired from the Williams and came back in 2017. Mr. BT's done the same thing.
He's doing a Wolf of Wall Street, isn't he? He ain't leaving. Right, cool. Mr. BT has gone out in Q3. He's gone out on the soft, so I wonder if he's got two sets of soft that he's got there, because it's quite early to set your fastest and have nothing else to play with. So
yeah, that is true, because we did see him use more than one tyre compound. Bearing in mind though, we do have that glitch where if you join late.
They're worn, they're tyres. Sorry to interrupt you, mate. It looks like they're scrub tyres, to be honest. I've just seen that. It didn't look like they were brand new coming out the pits.
Yes, I think because he joined. I know when you join the session late, you get an extra set of softs, don't you? I think you do, because I've joined late before in sessions and I got an extra set of soft compound tyres, so he might have the extra set.
I'll be laughing if he has. Go on, up for Williams. I don't know. I don't know if he did or he didn't. I'm sure he won't tell you if he did. He won't want anyone to know if he did. By the way, I've seen Wouter's helmet. I don't know if this is already a known thing, but it's brilliant if you get it on the if you manage to see it. I like it anyway.
I'll try to get a good view of it, so I'm on board with Walter now. Yeah, it's a decent helmet. I need a closer look at it because I got an off-board shot.
Alright, yeah, it's cool. I like it.
We'll go back on board with Mr. BT, who hasn't got a helmet on, by the way.
Yeah, I know, I've seen it.
As he makes his way around the final corner then, and crucial times for Q2 then, with all the pressure. Get on with these drivers as we make our way down this long straight then as we head into turn number 1, braking around the 100 metre border just before. I've got to slow the car down into turn 1. Now traction is very crucial coming out of the first two corners then. Nice exit. Oh, a bit wobbly there to turn 2 and turn 3. Might cost him a little bit, but like you said, he might be on scrub tyres, so that's why he didn't get the grip he wanted. Going down into turn 4, braking the 100 metre board. Yes, again, kiss the apex on the entry. Using fourth gear to short shift and rotate the car. Going down into these two corners then, flicking in the right hander and the left hander coming up. Avoid that outside curve because it will send you into the wall. We saw Pyro. Turn number 8 then, going down through here into second gear, now up into third immediately using the throttle to rotate the car as we head now into turn 9 and turn 10. Very easy to lock a left front brake up into here. And going down here, he misses the apex just a little bit, does Mr. BT. Straights up the car up and gets the DRS back in the power then as we head down this third straight, going down into turn number 11 then, braking around before the 50 metre board, hitting that inside curve, avoiding the outside curve because it will drag you off the track as we make our way through turn 12 then, flat out in this modern day Formula 1 car, avoiding the curve on the entry, going into turn number 13 then, Just put the car in, make sure it rotates, using the curve there. He didn't use all the track he had available to him to max out the track, but as we make our way down this straight then, back straight, going down into the final corner, braking just before the 50-metre board, down the here we go, hitting the inside curve, gets back at the throttle. Wheelos, 25.8, first decent lap time on the board for him. Mr. BT, can he beat that? Oh yes he can with a 25.6, that's the quickest time in the whole of Q3, so Mr. BT's got it hooked together.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. You did say that we'll probably not see a 25.5 or nobody quicker than that, but it's getting closer, isn't it? Rudy's invalidated his lap. I was on board with him. Nathan's just crossing the line. He's going to be P3 with a 126.2 fast lap. Wouter 126.1 as he crosses the line. Ferg is just coming around the final corner as well to see what he can set, and that will be a 125.9. Who else is on one? Who's just coming around the last corner? It looks like a Ferrari. It's the Rudy, but he's invalidated, so he's going to stay out and have another go.
Second run on the same set of sock power tyres. I think Giroud is the next man to cross the line, then he's just exited turn number 13 then. Let's see how he takes these final two corners. He was in the 26s in Q2, I believe. I thought he ran out of fuel there. You can see the fuel light is on, so he indicates he's fueled the car for one lap only. Massive wheel spin coming out the final corner there. Might cost him all the way time down the straight. It's a 26.2, and he goes into P6 there behind Walter. So anybody out there can beat that. We've got C4 Gaming missing turn 13, so it's cost him a little bit of time. I think he might have backed out there as the Dutchman in the McLaren. I think Robbie's next one to cross the line.
Yeah, Euro maybe did. I mean, that little bit of a sort of wheel spin or sort of lack of grip on the final corner, I don't think would have cost him the difference of, 6/10. That's the difference between the top. It certainly wasn't that. So I think he's maybe backed out and made a mistake further back. As I saw Robbie there on turn 13 make a mistake going into sector 3 on the final turn now to see what time he can put down. But I won't imagine it will be. Oh, another little dance around on the final corner. Maybe pushing it a little bit too hard. He needs to concentrate. He is going to stay in P8 with 126.3. I mean, that's not even a slow time. It's incredible, really. But yeah, with 2 mistakes, so he's obviously got a lot more pace that he can be adding to his lap time. Also, Sieb is in the pits.
Look at Rudy then.
And Rudy.
P3 for him. What a lap time there for Rudy, but total P is in P2. Wheelo's in P4, out qualifying his teammate on his debut. We know we've got plenty of time for Giroud in hand and Robbie as well. But Mr. BT then, the man currently on pole position, he has struggled last season and this season as well. So I really hope he could have a good result because he deserves it. He's a really nice guy as well, Mr. BT. Yeah. Always nice to talk to, be around with as well. So if he gets a pole position, I'll be absolutely delighted for him, as he absolutely deserves. I think he loves this track because I remember he posted the lap times. I think it was last season, and every time we've been to Bahrain, he's always been up there. So it must be one of his favourite tracks there with a 25.6. Can anybody beat it? Total P's, I think he's about over 10 behind. Rudy in P3 then. So Mr. BT in the Williams is currently on pole.
Yeah, I would. I'd extend the same, compliments to him. Really, he seems like a nice lad on my interactions with him as well. So, it's a good group, to be fair. CRL, there's not many bad eggs, is there? But with any big group, there's always an idiot. I'll claim it. I'll claim my tears. But yeah, there's always. But yeah, Spawn back to racing. What's Rudy doing? Is he going to have an opportunity to go around? It looks like his fuel says otherwise, so I think he'll be just bringing it round to come in.
How much
2
time?
laps on those soft. Oh yeah, definitely will be anyway. There's 2 laps on those soft, so definitely coming in. They're all just sat in the pits now. Predators sat for the last couple of minutes, ready for one more soft lap, I will presume. And it'll be on the lowest of the low fuel, and everyone will go absolutely flat out, and I'll dive out the pits with about a minute and 50-ish to go, so that they can make sure they get around in time to set a final lap.
Mr. BT.
Actually, 2 minutes maybe.
I think there's 4 minutes left to go. So if Rudy has enough time to come back into pit lane and put on a brand new set of tyres, but I think he'd be one of the last drivers to get out there. We're just all waiting for the timer to go down when the track is absolutely at its best, and I can't wait for this final shootout. Will anybody suffer under pressure? They've got the nerves jangling. Everybody they're so close. They know if you gain a 10th, heart might be pumping there, adrenaline going through. Mr. BT there, currently on pole position, might have a different pole sitter in the season, and if it's Mr. BT, I'll be absolutely delighted for him with a 25.6. He's on it tonight. I don't know how much practice he's done, but he's done a fantastic job around Bahrain.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you certainly don't set a time like 125.6 without practice, so he's certainly done a little bit. He's certainly put some decent times down in his time trials, or however he does it. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. He's certainly impressing tonight so far, and wouldn't it be a nice way after a tougher season for him to go and absolutely blitz the last race and get himself on the pole. It's another thing altogether, obviously, to win a race. It's one thing to put it on pole, another thing entirely to go and win it. But, you know, you can only do one if you do the other.
Yeah, I agree with you there, because
Mr.
BT hasn't really been in CRL, been in a race situation, been at the front in a situation like that. Total P's Rudy has, so I dare say P's and Rudy might have more experience, be more calm, and where Mr. BT might struggle a little bit due to inexperience being at the front, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it might be experience in itself tonight. The last race of the season with it when better, really, to get all of that experience when you know that everybody around you is going to be fighting like hell to get in front. So it's going to be good. It's going to test his ability if he can keep hold of it, because that's the next question. Are we going to see this 125.5? If anyone goes a sub 125.5, that would be a pretty scary time.
Indeed, I'll be very interested to see what Cameron Dow would have done if he was in Q3 session, but he decides that he wants to be on the mediums.
Yeah, I agree with that. As I say, we're presuming so. That's what he to convince himself he wanted to do. But either that, or he did genuinely hold on, thinking that it might have been quick enough. Maybe he just saw the time and he's just retired and just thought in his heart of hearts that it might have been quick enough, maybe. But yeah, we'd seen quicker. So yeah, brave decision.
Can't underestimate anybody here.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. It might be all playing into his hands. It might be the brightest decision out the lot. Sometimes if you're on softs and someone crashes on, turn one, or no, actually, if it's more like, your fourth or fifth lap in, that pivot point where it's not quite a good time to change for the medium runners and that type of thing, you can stay out if you're already on the mediums. He might be considering all sorts. To play into his hands. I'm not too sure. It'll pad itself out in time, but we see everyone now padding out the pits.
And Mr. BT has gone quicker in the first sector. Mr. BT, I think, in the front of the straight, he's gone quicker in the first sector by only just though. I did see him make a little mistake going down into turn 1, going a little bit wide into turn 1, so that may have cost him a little bit of time. But he's making his way down into turn 11 now. It looks like he's got this lap hooked up, judging by the way he's hitting every single corner, getting those braking points right, turning at the right time, going into turn 12 here. Let's see how much time he's getting in the middle sector at 10. Can he get into 26.5? Got to keep it nice and tidy from here on in then. Gets a decent exit quick out of turn 13. And now, long back straight through here, going down into turn number 14, then braking before the 50 metre board. Needs his final corner absolutely hooked up here. He has done. And let's see, then powers all the way down to the line. And he's going to set a 25.5. And he's done it.
Wow. Well done, Mr. BT.
Come on, BT. Come on.
An absolute special lap. That is
legend,
solid
mate.
as a rock. If he's put enough fuel in, it looks like he's not actually low on fuel, so he's actually got this lap as well to set a faster time. So with less fuel in the car, he's he hasn't even gone low fuel, has he? His fuel marker's not on, and he's on his second.
Look at Walter, P4 for him. Yeah, so I think the reason why that is because he might think, he might validate the first lap, and Wheeler's gone quicker, and he sets the exact same lap time as Mr. BT. Oh my goodness, look at that, 25.515. That is incredible. But in circumstances like these, I thought the person who would have set it first would be on pole position. That's what happened before. That's what I've seen in previous times. Someone set the best times. And look at Rudy in P3.
Oh my god. Yeah, the times now are absolutely insane. 25.5 for Rudy as well. That's him done though, because that's Q3 finished. Sieb's got to set a time. Don't invalidate Sieb. Ooh, he nearly did after turn 13. All he needs is a time. He sets a time, he's got a chance to be anywhere but P10. But if he doesn't set a time, that's him absolutely guaranteeing himself that position. So he comes round the final corner, Sieb. 2 minutes 17
left. That's Robbie. Facing backwards.
Oh, yes, that's
C4 game across the line. It's a 25.6. Is P4 for him. P's behind is P5. I did see Javu Vizza back out of his lap time. He was 2 tenths up. I'm not quite sure if he made a mistake somewhere in the last sector.
Yep. That was invalidated, yep. Nathan's just coming around the final corner. Is he going to be able to improve on his spot at 125.8? Not a bad time at all either, but no, he's going to pull into the pit, so he obviously couldn't improve his. So that's it. It's all done. Wow.
Wow, what a qualifying session. Will Mr. BT be a bit annoyed, a bit peeved off that wheelie's going not quicker, but yeah.
I was going to say, no, he hasn't. No, I think you just have to smile at yourself by putting a time down like a 25.5. It's very, very impressive. Yeah, well done then. 1, 2, 3, all frightening times. Even Sieben fourth, isn't it? It's not exactly slow, but these top three have really set one hell of a pace down in Q3. But good shout on the 125.5 by you. Early doors, you probably called that. That we probably wouldn't see any quicker than that, but could expect somewhere near. And that's about as close as you could get.
It was just a total guess.
Was it? It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Well, they've improved from Q1 to Q3. I think we'd said that at that point. Q1 to Q3, I think, is about 4/10 difference. I think they were 25.9-ish, weren't they? Or something
yeah, they were.
So, yeah, they've improved 4/10 over the qualifying. Very nice.
Ooh, I think it's going to be a 27 or 29 lap race it'll be, but I'm going to go to the toilet while before that happens. But congrats to Wheeler, by the way. His first appearance for CRL, puts it on pole. Well done, mate.
Yeah, lovely effort that. So there you have it, a Wheeler in the Alpine 125.515, Mr. BT in the Williams with a 125.5, two absolute jokes of laps. The Dutch duo of Rudy and Sieb in behind with the Ferrari and the McLaren also setting 125.5, just shy of the front two. P's in fifth for the Mercedes, a 125.7, Ferg in sixth. 125.7, also just a tenth behind for Wouter and Nathan in P7 and P8, and the final row of the top 10 with our championship victor in Jeroen for the Williams with a 126.2, and Robbie in the Aston Martin starts in P10. So just give us a second while we load up. And the cars are going to come out for their formation lap of the final race of the season for CRL in the Season 6. Already, can't wait for next season. We're not really having many disappointing races, full stop, over a whole season at this moment in time. Very, very rare we have a boring race, which is just golden, really. Still waiting for plays at the moment, according to my screen, but my screen's not the one running the stream, so here we go. Race should start in about 25 seconds, just waiting for the drivers to get their racing setups prepared. So there's strategies at this point for those viewing and don't have the game or play on it. They are currently just setting things like their tyres, deciding what tyres they're going to use on the for the race, or put them in place to put their tyre changes on. Also looking at things like your fuel, and how much fuel you're going to carry on board for the race. Are you going to go low? Obviously, there may be a safety car to consider in your thoughts as well. And here we are. It sounds like you're back.
I am back. I can't wait for this race. It is a 29-lap race.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Two different faces on the front row of the grid. It's very nice to see as well. Wheeler on his debut for CRL already put in first place there. Mr. BT, though, an outstanding effort. It will help him with his confidence if he does continue to race in CRL, because he's had some hard times around here and things are not always gone his way. But hopefully that changes tonight and he can end that spell.
He's here. He's staying. He's here for life. Absolutely. The it can be frustrating, this, and I'm the first person I know only too well that it can feel like that at times. It can get a frustrating game, especially when things don't go your way, or you're finally on a track that you love and you go out really early in the race or something like that, or you've been practicing for a few days and you can't wait for the race, and then all of a sudden you get to the race and it's absolutely pouring down, and everything that if you've been practicing on the dry, and all of a sudden it's a different race that you have to do, different strategy. You get a bit sick at times, but it's the exact same reason why we love the game as well, the variability and sort of that chance of fail or survival or victory and commiseration being so so fine a margin. You know, everything could be going perfect for you. I mean, I went from, in my race, I think, what did I go, was it 16th or whatever? I think at one point I'd got from 16th to P2 on my first stint.
Damn.
Caught the back of whoever's in first. Can't remember who it was. Like, was it AFL at the time? Anyway, in tier 3, span. And then it was like within a lap, I think I'd lost it again, like lost the back end again, but I'd have to let a load of people through, and it was just a nightmare, really. Like, lost loads of spots, and before you know it, you're at the back of the grid again. So it can all be won and lost so very, very easily on this game. But anyway, less about that. We're on the final race of the season, the coming round, to accumulate the position, assume the position, should I say, on the grid.
Look at that. Perfectly split between top 10 and the bottom 10. Softs and mediums. No hard tyres are being used in this race unless we have a first lap accident.
Yeah, exactly how we sort of called that it would be, but it doesn't always go as smooth as you want it to. So we'll see whether or not that strategy is going to be affected at any point by the likes of safety cars or any sometimes changes in the weather. But I can't imagine you'd have to worry about that too much in Bahrain.
Yeah, yeah, I've never seen it made around here in Bahrain ever since we've come to circuit in 2004.
I think I'd be pretty upset if I came to Bahrain and drove in the wet.
Yeah, I think I would. So I don't think I've ever driven in a wet, like not put the wet conditions on when it comes to like races around here. But anyways, 5 lights, and for the final race of the season, we are underway, and let's see who gets a better start off the line. Looks like Rudy's got a better start than Mr. BT, but Mr. BT the second phase. But look at that, then Mr. Total Peace that is alongside Rudy. He goes to the inside line, and he's going down the inside, but they're going 3 wide into turn number 1. Will they make it out cleanly? Rudy getting pushed onto the curb there, and he's got squeezed, and he goes off the track as well, but he's down in P4. Under pressure for Ferg, who got contact with C4 Gamer there. C4 Gamer dropped down to P10, unfortunately for him. But Peace then stays in P3 ahead of Rudy in P4, so Rudy has lost position. Ferg is side by side with Javon Vizor, Nathan, Seeb and Robbie all fighting for P8. Ferg down the inside of Javon Vizor then, and Robbie is in P8. C4 Game unfortunately has had a disastrous first lap, and look at Walter going down the inside of Rudy, going side by side then, wheel back in, that touching side pods as well, as Walter then stays ahead, or gets ahead of Rudy for P4 then. Interesting first lap. Wheelie still leads the Grand Prix ahead of Mr. BT, who defended really well despite being under pressure from 2 big guys behind him, which is Walter and Rudy, and he managed to just keep under pressure and stay calm, didn't he?
I would say credit where it's due. That was a very, very clean start to the race all round. I think everybody gave plenty of respect from what I've just seen. There was a little bit of wheel banging, but on the grand scheme of things, with that many cars around on this track, I thought that was a pretty clean start. But although on the car I'm looking at the moment, I'm on board with Cameron Dowds in P12.
Me too.
And it was such a massive train in front of him. I think the leader of the race is only going past the final corner, and he's going around the final corner now, about 3-4 seconds later, in P12. So one hell of a start, but we all look like we're in a line, and that was why my exact point actually at one point was that's why Cameron Downs maybe was brave to go on the mediums, because that train might stay in touch, but he's just got past T-Griff on the opening straight and dived his way down to maintain. He's got it stuck, and he's just tucked himself in behind Nathan in P10.
You can see Taze, Nemo and AJ going side by side. If you come out at turn number 3, then somebody's got off the track ahead of us. That was XT Yogurt. Unfortunately, had another incident down at turn number 3 where he crashed last time he qualified but stays out of the barriers this time. Taze, Nemo going around the outside of AJ. Pyro fighting with Yogurt, and they're still side by side. They're going down into turn 7 and turn 8 then. You can see there Taze, Nemo had the inside line, and AJ has to concede the place. Pyro is next to line him up for a move. He goes deep into turn number 8. It allows AJ to come back through, but with the outside line, should have better traction. And Pyro then gets ahead of AJ. So unfortunately for AJ, has lost positions fighting with Taze Nemo being in the wrong part of the track. But like you said then, with the DRS enabled next lap, if the train stays like this, and the medium runners will be able to drag along with these guys, the soft runners, will benefit them because they won't lose too much time, and they'll go on the soft compound tyres later in the race, won't they?
I agree entirely. I think that the soft runners have to like the Nathan Seebs, Robbie's, they've got to, really, really push to see if they can create that little bit of a gap between them and Cameron. Realistically, to utilise the softs, otherwise they're going to have a mountain to climb when they go into mediums, and the fast runners have all pitting at the same. No, they won't be at the same time. Obviously, they'll be later on in the race, but we shall see how that affects the race. But Cameron, yeah, he's tucked himself the back of the medium runners into P11 now. Not much change though. not much change on track at the moment. Where is it? Where's the position change? Interval. Sieb lost 5 positions from P4, went into P9, so he's the biggest loser. Sorry, Rough the next one actually, as he's dropped 7 positions. AJ, credit where it's due. I believe he's dropped the ABS off, so I haven't seen him lock up in his first few laps. So he's obviously learning him pretty well, but it does take time. That's not something that you can just pick up and be good at. Also, who else was it? Euro and Robbie jumped up 2 positions for P7 and P8 respectively, should I say. Wouter jumped his way up into P4, and Pease also started P5. He's jumped his way into a podium spot at the moment in P3, where he finds himself in the championship.
Robbie just had a nice adventure going off the track at the exit of turn 10 and managed to stay in P8 there. He had locked up into there, got a bit too deep and went off the track, but hopefully he has a bit more. There's a snatch of oversteer everywhere for Robbie. Every time I go on board with him, the car just snatching everywhere. The Aston Martin then, not as grippy as he would have wanted it, but Mr. BT, I must say to him, I've been watching an eye on that gap between first and second. It was outside the 1 second range of DRS a few moments ago, but he's got himself back in there, so respect for that, because if he was outside the 1 second range of DRS, it would be a massive DRS provider to the guys behind it. Therefore, they have to think about defending from the guys behind us. Wouter sets the fastest lap in P4 there. Good start from him, as you said, 4th place.
No, yeah, he's not done a bad start at all. I think the biggest gap that we've got to be worried about at the moment is T Griff's to Cameron. Cameron's just pushed on a little bit there, and he's created over a second's gap to who is now Bumpier, who's took over T Griff into P12. He's managed to keep it stick. They're also on the DRS straight though, so is he going to get it back? No, he isn't. The Shifter's also on his inside going into that corner. It looks like contact, nearly between T Griff and Shifter, but T Griff's managed to keep it on the outside. Yeah, he's all right there. So yeah, Bumpier now looking at the 2 seconds. It is 2 seconds, sorry, to Cameron in 11. So it looks like Cameron's the only medium runner that's going to be able to keep in touch with these soft runners. And yes, even he's starting to slip away a little bit from Nathan now.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, maybe to Griff and Bumpier spent too much time fighting each other in the background. Taze and Leroy going off the track. The Irishman there suffering into turn 10. Not the first driver to go off the track there, but just noticed as well, Rough the next day is on the hardcore power tyres. He's just pitted, so I'm not quite sure if he sustained from wind damage because he's 30 seconds behind everybody. AJ.
I think he did. I think he even pulled in. What are we on now? He's already had 1 lap, so it must have been lap 2. I think he came in starting lap 3. If he's already had 1 lap, and we're only on lap 4. So he clearly must have got into some problems with his wing. But no, I missed it as well, I'm afraid.
Talk about wings. Pyro is missing an end player. I'm not quite sure if he made contact with AJ there because they both changed positions, but Pyro lacking downforce in that corner at turn 12. He just went off the track and sadly he'll go in the pit lane. But Mr. BT there right at the back of wheelers, found some base, has the Williams driver Rudy momentarily dipping outside the 1 second range of DRS. In fact, he hasn't got DRS. Further behind, Shifter's Merksy has overtaken Bumpier and T Griff as well, so he's got both of them, and he moves himself up into a lovely P12. Can he close the gap down between himself and Cameron Downs? But Mr. BT, the fight is on. Rudy is actually outside the 1 second range of DRS then, as Ferg then is all over the back of him, as Joshua gets past T Griff, then shaping up to a really interesting race between these guys, and he moves himself up into P14. Does Joshua after getting knocked out in Q1, but looks like he's got some decent race pace on his hands for tonight.
Yeah. Well, we said before it could be a fantastic idea or a bad idea, but at the moment I think the plan's looking pretty solid for Cameron. Keep a little eye on him. He's closed that gap down again a few tenths towards Nathan. So as long as he keeps in contact with these front runners, when they all come into pit, he'll go to the front of the pack, and that's his cue to toe down, try and get away from everybody. But he's already got that gap between him and Shifters, so he would go to the front of the race with. At the moment, he would go to the front of the race with nobody behind him with DRS. It's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job keeping himself in DRS range. 10 guys ahead of him, because Rudy has got himself back in the DRS range now, taking advantage of the clean air he had momentarily to get himself back in the DRS range with all 5. But look at Pease there, right behind Mr. BT. Here we go into turn number 1. Pease too far back to make a move, and he'll stay down in P3. I want to keep an eye on Cameron Downs because he was right behind Nathan before the final corner. Steve Raw Gamer has overtaken Robbie for P9. A good move from the Cloud driver, looking to make ground yet again. I know he hate me saying this, but it could be said. His first lap. Pyro's gone for a spin at turn 12, must have touched that inside curb, and sadly rejoins that in last place. pace. But it must be said, C4 Game's first laps have not always been great, unfortunately for him. He's been dropping down, so hopefully he can sort himself. Maybe it's the pressure getting towards. Maybe he's a bit too cautious, because admittedly I'm a bit cautious going into the first few laps. You want to be as well, because you ruin your race. Ferg's retired. Ferg is out of the race. He's just hit the wall coming out of turn 7.
Oh,
wow.
No, so it must have been the left-hander. He's either clipped the inside or potentially the outside as well. If you try and carry too much overspeed, your tyre can just dab that outside apex, and if it does, it can be slippy. It's slightly less slippy, I would say, on this game compared to it was the last, or certainly this update. But as Ferg's has shown, even the best, or even the very best, can clip that curb and unfortunately just become a passenger. Once it's gone, I'm afraid. This is the other corner that can also do you some damage. What Shifter's Mercy's just coming around now, which was turn 12, the right-hander, or the curb of death, as a lot of people name it, and it's so aptly named as well. It's claimed probably everyone at least once.
Claimed me loads of times.
Very minimum, it's taken it's everybody's done it at least once. So Euroan has jumped into the pits, P7. Is that an early pit? Is he going to try and undercut people? Is he thinking that 6 laps is all you're going to get out of these softs, and he's going to go at the end on the mediums? What I would say is rough next day as well, on the hards. I think those hards, even they would run him the full 29 laps. To be honest, it's just that he might lose a bit of pace later on in the race, but he'd probably get to the end on them.
Yeah, I think he will. I think the hards can go there, but like you said, they'll lose pace. Their best performance will be probably gone towards later. But yeah, I think the reason why Giroud pits it, because he's stuck in this DRS chain. He wants to do something different, and therefore, while these guys are in each other's dirty air, he'll go for the undercut and therefore try and get ahead of everybody. So that's his plan. He's rejoined out in P17, so he's got some decent clean air between himself and AJ to try and utilise that and close in while he's got the fresh air ahead of him.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on Euro, and if he catches this whole pack back up while they're all trying to fight each other and race each other, then that'll probably put him in good stead for when they do come in the pits. It looks like there has been a problem. Who is that?
Pyro.
Oh,
he's retired in the pit lane.
Sorry, yes, he has. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I'd just seen someone just go into the pit lane and the yellow on the yellow warning light come up on Q3. But yeah, you're right. Pyro's called it a day. Unlucky for him. Wheelo's still leading this Grand Prix behind Mr. BT.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, isn't he? Oh, here he comes to the pits. They both do.
Ooh, they both do. They probably crossed the pit line, in fairness, rather than making it obvious that they're going to come into the pits. That might be something that we're going to talk about. We've mentioned this in other races, especially having a full car go over the line into the pits to sort of throw your following drivers off the scent. But yeah, they've come in, and there's quite a few of them that are going to follow suit. It looks like the full track's gone to mediums, apart from a few runners in P's. Wouter, Rudy, Sieb and Nathan are all going to try and get the 9th lap out. Whether or not they come in after that, I would say, is probably likely. Whether the undercut works, whether they still feel like they've got speed in the tyre while they're in a train, probably so. Just keep borrowing off each other, can't they, I suppose, if someone wants to, like a little peloton. So someone go at the front and take the strain on the computer, and all of you can pull away, really, as long as you play cleverly enough.
Yeah, so Javoon visited then in P16. Mr. BT rejoins ahead of him, crucially for him, and Wheelo is still ahead of him. So those two then on a fresh set of the medium compound tyres then protected themselves with the undercut triggered by Javoon visit then. So I wonder if we see more of these guys dive as the pit lane on this lap. I think C4 Gabriel, because he's outside the DRS range of anybody. He's got Cameron Downs right behind him, and Cameron Downs then will take the lead of the Grand Prix once all the soft runners have made their pit stops that they did as well. What's happened?
I've just seen a mistake there from Euroan. He was just going towards. I always forget this turns, the sharp left-hander that's downhill.
Turn 10
in sector 2, is it? Sorry, it is turn 10. And he just took. I think he just broke a little bit late, and he went over the side. And I think to save him spinning the car, I think he just used a little bit of the runoff area on the track to maintain his to regain his pace. But he did get affected, and Robbie is right behind him. He's thinking about having a go, is he? He's got right up the back of your run, so he's probably going to try and launch it down the opening straight, and he might get the turn done, you know. He might just get past him. He's only got 6% of his ERS left, though, Robbie. That said, but he's going to bleed it, and he's going to get past.
Mr. BT has taken the lead of the race, that he moves himself up into P9, and let's see then how this race goes on, because Relo and Mr. BT have got themselves out of the 1 second range of DRS of Total P. Here comes back Wheelo, down the inside we go, into turn number 4 then, tyre to tyre, as Mr. BT has the outside line and stays ahead. So Mr. BT then maintains the net lead of the race, then as Cameron Dowles has taken the lead of the race. And let's see how he's got a massive gap behind him of 5.1, and it's all medium runners then ahead of Mr. BT and Wheelo.
I think it's fair to say that Cameron's got the beating of all the medium drivers on the medium tyres, which is also fair to say that he might have the beating of all of the soft tyres once they've turned to the softs later on in the race. So that'll be an interesting one. They're probably looking at about 20 laps on these mediums, maybe 21 laps, and leave 8 laps left for the softs, and that's what we've just seen a lot of them do at the front of the track.
Ooh, AlphaTauri. What's happened to him? Is that AJ? Yeah, it's AJ. He's gone for a spin.
Oh no.
Oh, turn 12, what we talked about, isn't it?
Yep. Indeed. So Pease goes past, Fouter goes past, he just rids out of the way just a second. Rudy is coming up the straight behind him, but he's got about a second behind, so AJ, as long as he's got no damage, which I'm just on the outboard now, he hasn't got any damage, so just a slip, and he's obviously managed to catch it, so he's just sunk his way back into the pack, finds himself in P12.
Yeah, so that's a shame for AJ there. As you can see, ahead Bobby, his teammate, was actually fighting Liam into turn 1, but to shift his Merksy stayed ahead, and he stays ahead again into turn 4, then leading the rest of the media runners. Cameron Dowles got a healthy lead of a 4.9 second gap. He may have made the right choice, do you think, because we're going on soccer tyres later? Yeah, he is.
I think he's made a great shout. I mean, that said, the medium runners now that have come out on mediums, that are going to be looking to do the rest of the race on mediums, aren't that far behind though. If Cameron was to then pit now, he's definitely going to be overtaken while he's in the pits by these. So Cameron needs to utilise these mediums as well as he can to have a chance of coming back out on track somewhere near the top, so that he can fight with these softs right to the end and catch these medium runners. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting sort of final 9 laps when all of these medium runners that have started medium go soft. And see whether or not they can really make a launch. It's just about keeping you in the game at the moment. It's just about keeping yourself in the game. No mistakes, nothing silly. Wait for your opportunities, and when you can finally get on the soft, really push towards the end. It's flat out, like for last few laps of the season, you might as well go for it.
Yes, indeed, and it's going to be very interesting, like you said, what's going to happen. As Wheeler then right behind Mr. BT, yes, again on the straight. Pease and Walter, despite being undercut, I think ahead Bobby's going for a move into turn 1. Yes, he is on the outside. I think he needs to back out of that one to try and set himself up into turn 4, get a decent exit, then shift his Merksy. I want to look
Wheelo's
at...
going past Mr. BT on the opening straight into turn 1. He's going to go heavy on the brakes, and Wheelo, I think, is going to get it done. Yeah, he does get it done. Mr. BT just sinking in behind him for P8 and P9, but as you say, the net 1-2 in this race potentially.
And the medium pack. Oh, look at that. Joshua's got on the curb and spun. And he might... Yeah, he's ghosted. So thankfully, nobody hits him. If he wasn't ghosted there, there'll be a massive crash. And thankfully, ghosted is on. But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of the things in that corner. It's just I'm not quite sure who's at fault. But look at that then. They've caught up. Well, that was Joshua who was spun. But look at that. Pease is right behind Mr. BT there as Wheelo takes back the lead of the race there. They're catching up to the medium runners rather quickly here. Let's see if they do catch him up. And if they do, how will it hold him up?
They are catching them fast, yes, and the argument is that once in 8 laps on mediums, on softs at the end, against the 1 mediums, are they going to get that type of time? It's like a full pit stop that they'd have to try and rescue in the last stint.
Yeah.
It's a big ask. What's that, about 20 seconds odd in the pits here?
I think so.
I can't remember off the top of my head what the full pit time is. We'll have to have a look later, but we'll have it's basically going to work out just about that being the time that they're going to have to make up with that last stint on the soft. So it's decisions when you're going to come in. It's worth noting, by the way, that Shifters during that did move up to second place. I think he got past Bumpier there, if I saw that right, but Bumpier just behind him at the moment, so maybe he did, maybe he didn't, I'm not quite sure, but I think I saw him move up 1.
Here goes Seymour Gamer on his fellow Dutchman then as he makes his way down the inside into turn number 1. They'll both get DRS at the back of Robbie then. Steve's made the move to it, but will Drew Rivers do a pitch back at him and try and get him down into turn number 4 with the better exit as Steve was a little bit offline. Here we go then. I don't think so. I think Seymour Gamer though has the advantage. Here goes Robbie on the AlphaTauri. He has to make that move because he's an old media runner. Can't afford to stay behind an old media runner because you need to keep up with this train.
AJ just made a mistake. He had a little bit of a wobble. He just fishtailed at the back, and I think he just had to dive out the way. He's also just dived out of the way of his brother Nathan. I think was just about to join him in the corner, but I think he saw him coming at pace, Nathan, and he's He's chucked him a line there, I think, and let him past. But Nathan came. He was coming at rather a quick speed, and obviously he's only on 2 laps of mediums, as opposed to AJ's 11. But I think at this point AJ's just happy for the ride, really, just to get used to his new assists.
One thing that these newer medium runner tyres will be hoping for, that later on, like lap 16, 18, that the safety car doesn't appear, otherwise they'll swing towards the older mediums favour, whereas they could go with the soft compound tyres and reduce the time. And I think these guys, I've seen it before where safety cars came out like around that time, these guys behind, oh, Wheeler's had a moment coming out the final corner there, saves the car, but will cost him time towards Mr. BT. I think these guys as well, who are on the medium, might go to the softs because they'll have no advantage for those guys ahead on those brand new set of softs. But as we make our way down to turn 1 then, Mr. BT is not going to make a move on this occasion. He might have to save the ERS as well because quite low. Rudy has got past Joshua, and Steve has got past Robbie into P13. AJ's retired in the pit lane, so he's called it a day. And unfortunately his last race of the season has not gone well. So
I was just about to say, by the way, that while we were chatting there, someone to keep a little eye for. It was the 2 that stayed out that extra lap on the softs in the first place. They've only done 3 laps on the mediums, and it was Pease, Wouter and Rudy. And obviously we know Pease and Rudy are 3rd and 4th respectively in the championship. I would keep a close eye on them. As it happens, Rudy's he is 3 seconds behind Wouter at the moment, so Pease more to the point. But the 2 REL, Pease and Walter, keep a close eye on them, because I think they are going to be looking pretty good towards the end as well. With that, it's only a lap more fresh tyres, but at that point in the race it may make a difference with him, Wheelo, Mr. BT.
Yes, it is. Good point out for the Fandango about Pease and Walter. They are close in the championship for P2, so make sure those two don't make a mistake, otherwise one of them will gain a lot of points on the other, and therefore P2 will be taken away. Pease was in this situation last time when he was fighting with Javu Vizza. Actually went on to win the race against Javu Vizza. He's currently ahead of Walter, but obviously if it stays where it stands, Pease will not get ahead of Walter. He's quite behind Mr. BT, is Mr. Pease, so looks like lining him up to make an overtake then as we head down the straight onto lap 14 out of 29. You can see Mr. BT is de-racing on the straight. Walter's got to keep an eye on him, but he's got to keep an eye on Wheelo as well. Wheelo,
Pease is going to have a go as well. Oh, it's going to be 3 wide. No, there isn't. P stuck behind, probably a wise choice, and he's just tucked in behind Wheelo. But as you can see, Mr. BT did get it done against Wheelo. Oh, there's some weaving around. Oh, that's very, very lucky for Mr. Wheelo. He's nearly just turned into Pease, who was on his inside. I don't think he knew he was that close to him, and he just had a little bit of a wobble about, and I think that's in the end cost him, because Pease has now got by, and Wheeler's had to tuck him behind. So I've just called it, Mr. Pease. He's the man to keep a very close eye on in this race, I would say, at this point.
He's got himself in a good position as well, because he's no longer 3rd in the DRS train. He forced the move. He forced Mr. BT to go past Wheelo, and Mr. BT had the DRS detection point before he overtook Wheelo, so Wheelo did not have DRS down the second straight. He was vulnerable, and hence that's why 2 cars went past him on that straight. So Mr. Wheelo has got DRS now on these 2 ahead of him, so he can try and get these 2 back with the extra ERS advantage, because P's used a lot of ERS to try and close in on Mr. BT, and Mr. BT had to make the move, otherwise he'll end up behind P, so he kind of forced Mr. BT to try and take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what you need to do, though, isn't it? Even you know, when you're in a straight and you sort of swing your car out, and you know when someone does it behind you, and you just flick your eyes there. Sometimes that's all it's about, just putting your drivers off. If people get in a rhythm, sometimes they can get into a rhythm, and it's very hard to get them out of said rhythm and get by them. So, way up, Shifters has just made way for Bumpy on the opening straight there.
He's up into P2, his head Bob, your P's. Here comes Pease down the inside. Wheelo lurking in the background. Pease will get DRS on Mr. BT as they go side by side. Then we go into turn number 3. And here we go. Then Pease. Oh, Wheelo had a wheel spin coming out of turn number 3 there. Compromised his exit. Walter's all over the back of him. They're both derated on the straight. Total Pease with the help of DRS. Will Wheelo go down the inside? Yes, he will. Down the inside into turn 4 we go. And the side by side now. Coming out on turn number 4. Then Mr. BT on the outside line. Will he stay ahead? Wheelo tucks in because he doesn't want to lose the time between Pease and himself. And Yoga picks up a penalty.
Yeah, I agree with Wheeler's decision there. It was the wise thing to do. I think Mr. BT did have the right line and the right pace.
Look at the outside.
I've just seen him, actually. His wheel just appeared on my screen as I was watching Mr. BT, and Wouter's wheel just sort of appeared as the are on the DRS. Mr. BT's going to have DRS against Pease, but I don't think he's going to have as good of a launch down that straight as he needed to get by him, and no, he's nowhere near him as it happens going into turn 11.
We don't usually see move. You don't usually see moves. You don't usually see moves going down at turn number 8, but Wouter forced it. He knows he had to force it because he was 4th in that DRS train, therefore he had to try something different. He took advantage. Oh, Wheeler's gone had a massive understeer moment coming out of turn number 13. Looks like he's struggling a little bit on the front end, maybe overheated due to that battle with Mr. BT and himself. But he's last in the DRS train now, so unfortunately he won't have the high ground because he'll be stuck in that DRS train with those guys. So Head Bumpier then looks like he's been re-overtaken by Shifters while all that was happening. You can see Head Bumpier closed in on Shifters. They're getting closer now. Total P's is 2.2 seconds away from joining the old medium runners. Sieb's overtaking Rudy for P11. Good move there from Sieb. Be very interesting.
I mean, effectively, there should be a slight overlap between them, so you'll start seeing them intertwine with the earlier runners on the mediums and the later runners, and they'll just start mixing in, and then it'll just be at the time of, as I say, about 4 laps. I think you'll see all of the medium runners at the front of the race currently all drop into the pits, maybe try and get 9 or 10 out of the final. 9 or 10 laps out of the softs, maybe even 8. I would say that the majority of people win in on 8. I don't think you're going to get 9 or 10 out of them, to be honest. But when you're in a train like this, sometimes you can sometimes keep hold of tyres a little bit longer.
And Mr. BT had a little bit of a moment coming out of turn number 7, allowed Walter almost to go down the inside, but Mr. BT defended really well and stayed ahead of Walter there. So it looks like Walter had an opportunity to go down the inside, but Mr. BT covered that, and he remains in P8. Then still in the DRS races, Total P's then has about caught up to Yogurt's DRS, and this is going to be very interesting. How quickly can these new medium runners get past the old medium runners? The disadvantage is that if you make contact with the old medium runner, that's your race over, because it tends to happen when you catch up with the old soft runners, the old medium runners, when they have their own little battle for P2, because they've only one big DRS train from P2 to down to P6 then, so it could be very interesting how P's negotiates his way around those cars. And if he does, Mr. BT, Walter and Wheeler will have to follow quickly as they has to follow through quickly as they can, otherwise they lose too much time. Mr. Griff goes wide into turn number 1 then. P's is the DRS range behind Yogurt, as you can see Jaruba and Robbie are fighting. What's happened?
Yogurt in P6 has just lost the back end and had a little bit of a wobble out of turn 3, which allowed Pease to have a great look at him going into the next corner. Pease is right alongside him and is going to be alongside him for turn 6, 7, 8. He's just squeezed him a little bit just to make sure that he doesn't get in his way for the next one, and Pease gets it done, moves himself past. So there's one down. Essentially for Pease. He tucks himself into P6. This is looking good for him. He doesn't want to get stuck behind these for too long, as you say, though, because he wants to be utilising the pace on his mediums compared to the runners in front of him. But he's only got about 4 laps to go until they all get out of the way entirely. But if he can weave his way through all of that, Pease is
safety car has been deployed. Sorry to interrupt, but Robbie spent a lot of time off the track, and the safety car will benefit the media runners. Cameron Dowds, Shifters Merksy, IRT Bumpier, Taze Leroy, to Griff. Oh my word. Robbie,
this is massive. This is absolutely massive, because by the time that safety car comes back in, we've probably got about 10 laps to go. Now that's a big stint on the softs. I'm wondering whether or not people are going to go the softs, or possibly now just the whole track all going to mediums, but this completely shakes everything up. Cameron Dowds I'm just on board with now, and is the first to go in the pits, and this is absolute dream scenario for Cameron. This is everything and more that you would have wanted right now, to be on an even playing field with everyone, and he's put the softs on.
Everybody's in the pits.
Clearly feels he can get the job done. So Cameron, we said at the start of the race, would it be the right option to go on the mediums, and the race just fell into his hands completely here, as he pulls out of the pits on fresh softs at the front of the pack. Oh, what a race for him! What a scenario! The series of events that's just unfolded, and it just shows that the medium runners to start the race were the ones that ended up being the lucky ones, because this safety cars fell bang on time when they needed. So yeah, I think I'm just trying to think, is Robbie helped someone out there? No, his teammates not. Nathan, I was wondering whether or not it was a tactical one, maybe to try and help his brother out somewhere on the track. But no, it's not the case. Yogurt has come out on hard there, has he? And now he's driving into the wall. Oh no, that's CPI. CPI Robbie on my screen has just drove into the wall coming out the pits. Still he's driving into the wall.
I can't see. I can't get an on-board shot of him. Yeah, he's coming out of the pits. I think, yeah, he looks like he's safe. But Robbie may have upset some people here. He's definitely advantaged the old medium runners, like you said. And Cameron Dowsett remains in the lead. This is a dream start. Look at Bumpier. Look at Shifters Merksy in P2. Those guys that started on the medium compound tyres absolutely went to their favours there. And Yogurt, if he didn't fall behind P's and Mr. BT, he would have been in P6. And he's got the hard compound tyres, like you said. So he feels those soft cargo stayed, unless he's doing medium hard medium because he wants to like get rid of the one tyre rule because he started the medium compound tyres and therefore go back to the mediums. But the problem is he'll lose a lot of track position and he'll be vulnerable at the start of the race because he's surrounded by soft runners.
Yeah, it's it has really just fell into their hands so much, hasn't it? Cameron can't. He must be absolutely laughing. Shifters as well compared to. Let's just have a little look now that we've got a little bit of a second while the safety car's on. We'll have a little look at some of the stats of this race because I think that the position change is going to be incredible for these lads at the top. Yeah, so Cameron Dowds is up 13 places from his start. Shifter up 13 places. Bumpier up 8 places. Taze Leroy up 14 places. T Griff up 7 places. The amount of jumps that they've had from the start of the race has been incredible. It's just completely fell into their hands for these last 10 laps. But they've all gone softs. They're all positive and confident that softs are the right tyre for this. We did see that it was a big difference between laps time, didn't we? Certainly in qualifying. So even if you have to take the last lap very, very cautiously, they're still going to probably end up being the fastest tyre because you'll be able to go flat out for the next 8 laps or so, and it depends whether the car's going to stay out for more than 2. By the look of the current train now and everybody's tucked up already, I think it'll be coming in this lap, I would imagine, starting at the start of lap 20. So yeah, they've got 9 laps. Yeah, 20. Yeah, 9 laps to go.
Well, start of the race I thought Pease, Mr. BT and Walter, I thought one of those guys will win the race, but it turns out it could be Cameron Dowds, it could be Shifters and P2 if he's got the pace, because he was outside the 1 second race. He was busy, he was occupied by a head Bompier, Taze Zero Co behind him. He was actually gaining on Cameron Dowds a little bit, but he was constantly fighting with head Bompier behind him. Now he's got the chance to close in on Cameron Dowds. Let's see if it can be a straight fight between himself. He's got a big chance of winning this race as Shifters Berksley, so I can't wait to see what happens from here on in. But Robbie then has definitely... Robbie, there's half of people happy, half of people are annoyed with Robbie.
Yeah, I think I would be annoyed and feel a little bit. So you've got to feel a little bit sorry for the likes of Pease.
Hello, Daniel.
PT. I mean, can you? Am I there? Have I gone?
Yeah, you there? I was just saying hello to Daniel. I can hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I just feel a bit sorry for Pease, Mr. BT. They were both pushing really hard. They were absolutely flying. Pease was starting to meander through some of the traffic in front of him. So you would have thought that this probably single-handedly took probably the final race of the season victory off Pease there, potentially, the way that things were going. So he's got it all to do in P7. It looks like the safety car is coming in this lap as we see it extend down the home straight to jump back in the pits. Now, is there going to be any drama? 10 laps to go of the final race, season 6 of CRL here at Bahrain.
Wow, we're about to find out, mate. I can't wait. 10 laps to go.
Absolutely. Here we go. What's going to happen?
Cameron
Dowds.
Dowds.
Set off early is the next question. Would you hold back or just get your foot down as quick as possible?
He's going now. Let's see if he get caught out. Look at Taze Levo right behind Head Bompy. Then he got caught napping a little bit as Taze Levo then pulls to the right hand side with Head Bompy. Then as we make our way down into turn 1, shifters get a little bit of extra temperature in the tyres as we go into turn 1. And Taze Levo has the inside line in the corner. Might squeeze Head Bompy, but Head Bompy is still there down the inside. He goes then. They both side by side. They go cleanly, and Taze Levo then stays ahead. Gets ahead of Head Bompy. It must be said to Griff then next to try and get Head Bompy, but Head Bompy stays in P5. Total P is then looking for revenge now due to that safety car. We're looking for a straightforward race with no safety cars. I predicted a lap 17 or 19 if the safety car comes out. I said that earlier, didn't I?
Yeah.
I predicted a lot of things tonight. Look at Total P's go down the inside into turn number 8 then. Has got the move stick. They go side by side as T Griffin has the outside line. Will he try and go back down the inside of Total P's? They're all on the same tyres, of course, so they all have the same advantage. It must be said about a Haas of the rough next day has spun, unfortunately, down at turn number 8. But Wheeler's had a moment coming out of turn number 10, and Walter and C4 Gamer have overtaken them, and Walter then is up into P. He's overtaken Seeb as well, so it looks like Seeb also had a bad exit, and Walter was able to gain 2 places in 1 0, unless Wheelo was trying to get Walter, that he went wide himself. I'm not quite sure, because I thought Walter was ahead of Wheelo, but he's Rudy all over the back of him. Down the inside goes Rudy, it's turn number 13. Doesn't make the move stick, so he stays behind. Does Rudy? So we try to get him next time. But Rudy's race pace hasn't been quite matching his qualified pace. So let's see if he's got a second chance in this race to try and do something about it. And Let's see, Mr. Beattie then. Next overtake to Griff. He'd be looking for a podium as Mr. Beattie's done a fantastic job throughout the whole race, but the safety car coming out at the wrong time at the wrong place, unfortunately for him. Now he's going to make his way through the field while they're all on the same tyres. Down the inside goes Mr. Beattie. Late braking move. I think they might have made contact there. Griff had to get out of it. Look at C4 Gamer and Wheeler go side by side. C4 Gamer stays ahead of Wheeler and Rudy's all over the back of him, but good move there for Mr. Beattie.
Yeah, Wheeler tried a really late brake to try and get on the inside of Steve. Oh, as I'm talking, who's just got on the outside? That is Rudy with one audacious effort. And he's had it. Oh wow, he's made it stick as well. That's an unbelievable effort from Rudy down the outside of Wheeler on the turn. What an overtake that was. You can see that there's a few people braving these soft tyres and certainly pushing the braking zones with them and going pretty deep in the corners, trying to brake as late as humanly possible to maintain and protect their positions. But of course, every time you do it, you fall that little bit further behind the train in front of you. As you can see, Bumpy already in P4 has just about gone a second behind these front runners. And if that's Dowds, Mercy and Leroy all get Leroy all manage to pull away and get that second, that's going to be your podium, unless something changes.
Mate, a top three I would not have predicted. Shifters, Chase, Leroy, Cameron Downs. I've not predicted that at all.
It's you would have got some decent odds for them three being top three, I think, in a group for tonight. But it doesn't take anything away from the drivers and the performances that they're putting on display at the moment. So it's still to do. The front two have still got a bit of VRS. It looks like Taze Leroy's probably bled all of his in order to get his P3, but Bumpier has also not got a great deal, and Bumpier just sees Pease go flying past him there into turn one. Pease taking an aggressive line and gets the job done. Pease obviously hasn't let go of this P1. He's obviously pretty upset about the scenarios that's come on before, and I think he's got a point to prove here. Pease really trying to push now, gets himself into P4, and he has started to close down that 1 second gap as well into P3. So Pease is not over just yet. He set a purple sector 1, by the way, which is worth noting as well.
Yeah, Total P's on the charge. He's looking for, just a revenge drive after that safety car that Robbie caused. Funny enough, when Ferg crashed, the safety car, no VSC came out, but when Robbie crashed, he didn't lose a wheel. So the safety car came out with Robbie.
Was that because of his position on track, or? I
think he was in the same place where Ferg stuck it in the wall, but Robbie stayed stationary for a few seconds, so that might have triggered a safety car. But yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure if it was the same place or not, but if it's the same place, yeah. Unsure how the algorithms work in this game to be able to make that decision, but it's certainly a big decision at this point in the season to bring out that safety car at that point in this race. But yeah, we talked about timing as well, didn't we, before, that the safety car can really mess strategies up if it comes out at certain times, but it couldn't have worked out any better for any of the top sort of 7 races here with Wouter Sieb. Probably not thinking at the beginning of this race. Sieb's just going to go past Wouter, I think, before he gets to turn 1, just before the braking zone, and does.
Nice move there from Sieb. Good move. Yeah, Robbie's retired.
He has. I think Robbie had 6 seconds penalties last time I checked, alongside Yoga, I think. So at that point as well, when he's already down there, I think he's just called it a day with 7 laps to go.
Mate, I'm just sitting back here relaxed. I just want to see who wins, because it's going to be a fascinating fight between Cameron Shifters and Pease and Leroy. If Pease does get past Leroy, can he get himself in that 1 second gap of Cameron's and Shifters? We'll have a fight. Mercedes versus Red Bull, like we did in 2021 with Hamilton and Verstappen at the beginning of the race in 2021. So Cameron Downs then behind Shifters Merksy for P1 as Shifters overtook him on the straight. And you can see Josh Yoga and Giroud, both Dutchmen, are fighting for P13 there. One of them's running a controller and one of them's turned off assist. That's why he's struggling, this Giroud. So just trying to get a feel for assist here. He's doing a good job despite having no assists.
Oh, is that right? Right, okay, I didn't realise Jerome was doing it as well. So yeah, I mean, that's fair enough then. That's fair enough, because a couple of times in this race I've been worrying. I've been wondering how come he was where he was in expectation for where I thought he was going to be. But yeah, that makes sense if he's playing around and eliminating more and more in assists to make his drive that little bit harder. But it looks like Cameron Dowds has got the DRS and will get the overtake done on Shifters, as Pease also takes back his spot against Taze Leroy to go into 3rd position. So they go back into the positions that they were already having. We did say, in fairness, because of the grips with the front two, that Shifters and Cameron might exchange places 1 or 2 times. We'll probably see it 1 or 2 times more even between now and the end of the race, potentially, as they borrow DRS from each other. But can 3rd place Pease close that gap. He can see them both ahead, and the more that they play with each other, that's probably not the right expression, that is it? The more that they, especially no cameras a young lad, so actually no, let's change that expression. They are toying. Is that any worse? That's probably worse. Let's just say battling away for the front spot. So great few laps ahead of us though. 5 laps still to go. Cameron leading 7/10 he's managed to get from shifters, but still within that DRS. Pease is closing it down every few corners. He's getting that little bit closer. So.
Oh, contact's been made. Oh, Rudy and Nathan had a bit of contact there into turn number 11. Rudy took all the curb, made contact with Nathan, and made contact twice in that corner, so it might be under investigation after a race. But yeah, Rudy stays ahead for the time being. And somebody's got off the track. Is that Chiroon? Unfortunately, it is a Chiroon visitor. Yeah. Championship champion in CRL, he's got nothing to lose, so he turns off assist. So fair enough to him, because it is difficult turning off assist and go into a race straight away, isn't it?
Yeah, I think at this point he's probably sat there with like McDonald's in one hand and driving in the other, probably. But he's just enjoying it. So he's pulling in your own. I think he's going to call it a day. Either that, or he's going to slap some more softs on and just set a faster slap or something like that. But he's probably just going to retire the car.
Oh, get a bit personal between Nathan and Rudy there as they make contact yet again. Yeah, it's getting so close between those two.
Someone's alongside Rudy as well. Who's that alongside him? Someone else is just about going. He's inside. Is that Yogurt? It looks like Yogurt. Duh, it is Yogurt. He gets that done. Wouter, is he picking up a penalty there in P10, which is just going to take him? Is that going to take him out the points? It's going to put him into 14th though. Yeah, Wouter's just picked up a. Oh no, because there's 2 people with penalties underneath him. But yeah, that won't help his points on the final day of the season. Not that it mattered. If actually no. I think we worked it out that Pease needed to. Is it Pease needed to win? And Wouter was to come. Was he not to have a DNF or something like that? Is that how it worked?
I think it was. I'm not quite sure. I think you're better than Master than me, because I'm terrible at it.
It was something like, if I remember rightly, Pease had to get the win. And Wouter needs to come there's 21 points between them currently. Wouter's in second with 325. Pease has got 304. So I think Wouter needed to have a non-scoring race in order for Pease to go above him. Is that right?
I'm not quite sure, but I think AJ was retired, so he can tell you.
It's 40, 33 and 28 is the first 3. So 40 for the win. I mean, 40 would certainly win it. I don't know, we'll have to just wait until the end actually and try and fathom it out between Wouter and Pease to whether or not they're going to switch positions in P2 and P3 in the championship. It's possible actually now that Wouter's just done that with the penalty.
And Cameron Dowd,
we'll work it out at the end.
Cameron Dowd has re-overtaken Shifters Merckx then as he tried to attempt to go back down the inside into turn before. Then Pease is right behind him, followed by Taste Leroy. Taste Leroy still in contention for podium here if he sticks in the DRS. He's doing a good job. Mr. BT unfortunately is outside the 1 second range. It's still good points for Mr. BT. Like, the safety car came out at the wrong time for him unfortunately, but he's done a fantastic job, it must be said, attacking and defending, so you can't discount that from him. But he's still plenty of opportunities. There's 3 laps left to go. This race has just gone so quick. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely incredible. The safety cars, I think, have swallowed up the back end of it a little bit. Being a couple of sorry, not just the one safety car. Was that one safety car? It just feels like it lasted so long, but I suppose it is a long track, I suppose, when you're only crawling around behind the safety car. But just on a back up there on Mr. BT, I think he's got to be. She should be happy with his performance today. He couldn't have done any better. Right up until that point in the safety car, and that's just killed him off. Which you can't do anything about that. So sometimes you just have to you hold your hands up and just appreciate that it's racing and these things happen. But Cameron, on the flip side, is he going to be taken by Shifters, who looks like he's going to get it done by turn 1?
Look at Total Pease.
He's going. Contact! There's contact!
They spun! Oh, Pease! No Pease! No Pease! No Pease! Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh.
It looks like Pease breaks late on the inside of turn 1, and as he's done it, he's just tapped the back of Shifters that now finds himself in P8. Shifters will not be happy about that. But unfortunately for him, that is what's happened. T-Griff and Seeb having a fight, but Cameron Dowds must be looking in his review mirrors now, licking his lips, thinking that he's got over a second now to Taze Leroy, who what a race he's having, Taze Leroy, to be in P2. What a hell of a race. So hopefully he can stick on there to keep his podium, but Pease might have took himself out of the podium spots, or out of a chances of getting a podium spot. Has he got any damage? Let's have a little look. at the front of his car. It doesn't appear that he has. No, the end plates looked intact. So even with the contact, it was only very, very minor, but it was enough to turn shifters around and effectively give Cameron a bit of a run now on the other cars.
I think
in the race,
despite Wilder having a penalty down in P11, I think Total P's with the gaps being so tight, I think Total P's, if he has a 5-second time penalty added to his race, he might fall down to P10. That's how close this grid is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Actually, that's a good shout. If that ends up being an incident of fault for P's, he might get a penalty for that. That said, I think Pease would have had to get positions higher than what he's in to get the clearance on Wouter points-wise. So I think Pease would have had to be, sort of 1, 2 or 3, I think, to be putting pressure on Wouter in his position in P11. Because there's points, obviously, all the way down to P15, as we know. Is there anything else going on? It looks like, there's a little bit of contact between T. Griff and the back of Mr. BT. He's just given a little bit of a bump there around the corner. I don't know if there was any damage between them, but I think it was just a little bit of a tap, a little reminder, just to let him know that he's there and that he's going to certainly have a go if he gets the opportunity, which Wheelo does have an opportunity to get past shifters. And is he going to get it done both side by side? Shifter's been pushed off a little bit off track, but I think he's still
Mr. BT's retired.
Oh no!
How?
The front wheel's off, race is over. Oh no.
No, BT,
no.
He
didn't deserve that. Didn't deserve that at all. Last race of the season, he's had an unbelievable race really, but it looks like it's the downhiller at turn 11, was it that we said? Or turn 10, was it? Yeah, turn 10.
Yeah.
The downhill left-hander, and it's just before the second DRS straight, and unfortunately for him, he has ended his race. That's so unfortunate. He's had a great race. He should still be happy with his performance tonight, but he hasn't been able to get it done right at the very end. But we're on the final lap of the season. The final lap of the season feels weird to say that. Bumfier's just got second place off Tesla Roy, by the way. He's going to be able to keep hold of that on the outside. Is Peace still fighting? Peace tries to take a hell of a lot of the corner. Peace is going to get the launch. Oh, she's going to get squeezed out. It's all going on. Is Peace going to find a gap?
Bumpier has no DRS. He was vulnerable down that straight, but Bumpier, this is a fight for the podium, probably his first podium of the season. He will fight hard, but he's touched her. Oh, more contact, and Bumpier's desperately trying to stay on the podium. He's into P3. C4 Gamer can take a podium. Missed P's. It's all happening on the final lap. Taze Leroy will get P2, but I'm not quite sure there's any front wing damage. If there is front wing damage, Rudy has retired. It's all good on the final lap of the race then, and let's see C4 Gamers round the back ahead Bumpier, and more things going on. Wheelo's just gone absolutely flying into the corner and just give a couple of the drivers in front a little bump.
I think one of them was Pease actually. So
look at Seeb.
I think
he has got past Het Bumpier. Het Bumpier might have sustained front wing damage. There was loads of contact. You can see him turning the steering wheel quite heavily, putting more steering lock than he would have wanted. So that indicates he's got front wing damage. C4 Gamer finds himself on the podium. Both McLarens are on the podium. I'm so happy for C because he finally deserves this. But Cameron Downs there is making his way towards the line. He'll come across the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix ahead of Taze Leroy in P2. Both McLarens on the podium. I am so happy for those two guys. Het Bumpier P4 to Griff was right behind Bumpier. P's in P6, Shifters P7, Nathan P8, Wheelo P, actually Joshua in P9, and Wheelo P10, Walter P11, Giroud in P12, and it's going to be Rough the next day. Do you know what? Rough the next day has been last in majority of the Grand Prix. I want to say massive respect to him, because if I was him, I'd have left the session by now. So I want to say congratulations for sticking in the whole race, because I know it's tough.
He was superb, Rough the next day. He found himself well behind at multiple points in the race. Oddly enough, he got the fastest lap of the race, a 1:27.8. He was the fastest man on track of any one lap in this race. But yeah, fair play to him. He's got good point in 13, and that's what it's all about sometimes. Just seeing it out till the end. Big shout out to the young man, Cameron Dowds. What an effort with father in tow watching on the stream. What an effort that is to get himself his... Has he won a race before, Cameron?
Oh yeah, 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 he has.
Has he got a few hundreds belt now? Right, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't been seeing all the races in T1 this year, but all right. So he's certainly got the pace there. Yeah, unbelievable race for him. He must have been absolutely laughing his back off when that safety car came out. He's got who did it? Who was it again? Who created that? Was it Mazepin? That give him that spin just on the right time. But yeah, I think he owes someone something off that. The timing was just absolutely beautiful. He still had it to do, by the way. Him and Mercy having a good little battle towards the end.
Yeah,
But
we'll
he managed
get
to
them in the
keep,
podium
keep
interviews.
ahead of him. Our championship winner, you ruined already last week. So we've already had a chat with him about the championship win. See whether or not any of these join.
I know Seaboard because he has been... There he is.
Here he is.
He's got a big happy smiley face on the Dutchman's face, haven't you, Seeb?
Yeah.
Been a while.
Wow, that was
Welcome
so
back.
stressful, mate. It was
Welcome back.
Incredible last few laps.
We'll start with Seeb as he's in the party first. Siege for Gamer, mate. An unexpected podium, do you think?
Yeah, so unexpected. I was like P8 like 3 laps before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it came quite unexpected, this one.
Oh man, it was a fascinating race, wasn't it? Because a lot went off. When the safety car came out, you were on the soft core power tyres at that point. What was you thinking? Well, mediums, I'm sorry. What was you thinking?
To be honest, it was a good thing because I saved a set of softs in qualifying. I used in Q3 a old set, so I could have a new set for this scenario. So it was kind of planned.
You're a smart boy, aren't you? You did a fantastic job to make your way around the cars. When those two crashed, did you think that head bump you had damage?
I did not think so at first, but yeah, he had a lot of understeer, especially through the corner. I overtook him, so and yeah, I expected him to have damage. Yeah.
Right. How does this podium feel? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, later on in the race, it looked like obviously Pease and Mercy had a bit of a bump into turn 1, and I think that freed the space up for you to get through.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, is that ultimately when you got by? It looked like that was when you claimed a couple of positions.
Yeah, they had a little incident, and that was exactly what I needed to get a podium, of course. Yeah, they had a little incident, and Pease half spun, I overtook him straight away, and Bumpy was a tense last lap with him, so GG's to him.
Mega performance there, mate. So congratulations. I think one of the drivers in the chat has actually voted driver of the day for you. Do you agree with that one? Because you did a fantastic job avoiding the carnage and making your way through the field in one piece.
Yeah, qualifying was the best I could get, and to be honest, the only bad thing was to start again, so I need to sort that out for next game. But yeah, I'm very happy right now, and hope I can enjoy a little bit of off-season.
Can we talk about your starts? Because I know you don't want to, but I really want to know what goes through your mind at the start. Are you a bit nervous? Are you cautious into the first lap? Because we've seen you, like every time you're up there. Don't get me wrong, you always fall down. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but do you get a bit nervous about the drivers?
I'm always nervous at the start. To be honest, yeah, it's very tough for me to keep my nerves. But yeah, the starts, I don't know. I just can't seem to handle it. Last games was a lot better for me. I hope next game I can improve on that for sure.
Is this your second time on the podium?
You mean this season's first one?
Yeah, first one. Oh, yeah, nice one. Nice one.
Yeah, a bad season to be honest. Yeah, really bad.
What time?
At least I can end it on a high.
Exactly. Do you want to ask the question next, Fandango?
No, that's all right. It was all right. I think it was just what we were on about, so I think he just said it anyway. So, very good. What about the other two that we were waiting for? Have they come in the chat yet?
Cameron Dowes usually joins the chat, but I'm not quite sure if he's received the invitation, so we'll wait for him if he does. He's in the lobby right now, Cameron Dowes actually. So, Yeah, so Cameron's in the lobby. I'm not quite sure if he's gone to celebrate that win or showing his dad or something like that. But Cameron's dad, if you are there, tell Cameron to join the party.
I'll see if I can find him and put an invite out as well.
I think I've invited the right account. I think it's the same account he's used all the time, so hopefully he joins the party.
Yeah, but sometimes on this you don't get certain people's invites. I don't know why, but for Tier 3 I never get McCorney's. I seem to just not get invites off McCorney. But when someone else invites me to the session, I can get him. It's a bit strange.
There he is,
Here he is.
finally. Oh, Cameron, that was them. Well, congratulations for P3, Steve Gamer. You did a fantastic job in the last race. Hopefully next season you come back stronger, because you are a very strong driver indeed. It's very nice to see you up there all the time. Qualifying's been your strong points, but I think the race pace, it needs to be improved a little bit, do you think?
I think race pace is fine, just the start, so I was fallback.
Yeah, fair enough, mate, fair enough. But congratulations. Very happy to see you up here in P3. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Race winner Cameron Dowds. Fandango, do you want to take away with this one?
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations, Cameron. The first thing I'd say is, how happy were you at the safety car and the timing of the safety car?
Oh, I was buzzing. It was perfect, to be honest. It was like, it was within perfection. It was like 1 or 2. It was 1 lap after my pit window, and I was planning to pit that lap or the lap after anyway, so it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I think yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be easy after the restart because I had all them lot behind me and it was just a big train, but Pease outbroke himself and just took Liam out, and I had to take evasive action, but the others behind had to take a bigger one, and they fell out of my DRS and I was just able to pull and stay out of it and then managed to win.
Yeah, with a couple of laps still to go, I think you'd managed to get over a second to whoever was in second at that point. So it was only just about keeping that gap. Yeah, you're right. It did look like there was a bit of contact around in turn 1, and that gave you a little bit more space. But yeah, I thought that the softs were going to be about optimum for about 8 laps, and I think in the end you only had to take them. Is it 9 or 10 in the end by the time the safety car came in? So it was. It worked out absolutely perfect. And by the way, we had this conversation in qualifying, so I suppose you could clear this up. Did you decide on purpose to not come out for another lap on the softs?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Okay. So you were just happy that you wanted to start on the mediums from the start, and that was it.
Yeah, I knew I was going to get kicked out of Q2, but I know since it's the last race, I just wanted to try something interesting, and it worked. It
absolutely worked. I was saying it could have been the best shout, because in the first stint we were talking about the fact that you never really slipped that far away from the group ahead, so you were keeping involved with the softs. I think whoever's behind you, I think you opened about 3 seconds out at one point, but you'd kept about 7/10, 8/10 behind P10. So that was it was the perfect start as well. Really, everything went to plan, start to finish for you. Really.
Yeah.
Very good indeed. Anything from you, Jamie?
Yeah, I think I remember now. Your first ever race here at CRL was at the Belgian Grand Prix, wasn't it? Not this season, but a few seasons ago. So,
It wasn't a very good race.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good race, and a lot of people, I think they doubted you because you were a little bit too young. But you proved yourself race by race. And what's changed from Belgium last season to this season? What's changed?
A lot. I can't even remember that far back.
I think it was your first time league racing, wasn't it? Properly in a proper league, competitively, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was using the default setup that racing everything. I didn't really know what I was doing back then at all. I think I was using default setup.
Ah, fair enough. This season, how do you think it's gone? I know you've not been here the whole season, but I think you've joined back at the British GP or just before that. How do you think the season's gone for you? Because I know you had that crash at Abu Dhabi, and just talk us through your season.
Yeah, when I joined in Silverstone, from then on it's been pretty good. Some good results, some bad results. Off the top of my head, it's quite a lot of decent results. Abu Dhabi being one of the bad ones. I've enjoyed it a lot just due to the fact that the top 10 are just so close. So every week, you can have a constant battle with at least 5-6 people.
Have you got a favourite track, Cameron? Oh, from this season, have you got a favourite race or where things went right? I suppose that's probably what you've just done, to be honest.
Yeah, probably Silverstone at this race. It was a lot of beautiful action, so yeah, that's what I enjoy.
Yeah. Absolutely perfect, mate. Well, congratulations from me. That was pretty much, as in fact, in terms of planning a race out, it fell absolutely perfect for you, and all you need to do is just make sure that you executed it, which you did very, very well. So well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
And next season, Cameron, are you coming back for next season for like full time every race?
Yeah.
Do you think you'll have a shot at the championship next season because your pace has been on par with Total P's, Javoon Vizza, Walter, Rudy, and all of them?
Hopefully, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Seba, you still here?
Yeah, I am.
How do you think your season's gone overall? What could you improve throughout the whole of the season?
Race starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, just being more, how do I say, more prepared, I would say. That's also one thing.
How much practice do you do before a race?
Like, I practice like in the evening a little bit, then I have 1 hour break until the race. But it's maybe better to drive before the race instead of an hour, having an hour break. Like that.
I think thanks to this sorry. I think thanks to this podium.
I was just agreeing with him. Saying I do a similar thing.
Thanks to this season, due to Ferg retiring, Bumpy was behind you, and to Griff, I think he finished 2 places behind you in 5th place. You were 2 points behind to Griff, so I think you're safely secured in the top 10. I think you finish, I think P8 due to Andreas not racing. So yeah, you picked up some decent results.
What the maximum I could get, to be honest, after before this race.
You finished P2, right?
I finished P3.
Or P3. You'll get 28 points for P3, and I think you overtake Andreas, so you move up to P8.
Yeah, you do. After the beginning of the season, like, everything just went wrong. And like, after Azerbaijan, like, that was my favorite track. That was the track where I wanted to win, where I had the pace to win, I think, as well, but just not performing. It was so tough, man. It was mentally so in the bin. But yeah, I'm very happy with this race.
You deserve it, mate. After, well, tough season for you, came back on the heights at the end of the season, so hopefully all goes well for you next season. New game next season.
Sorry?
New game next season. Do you think you can get back on top in the CRL?
Depends. Of course, it's on the new game, of course, F122. So I'll have to see what I can do on that game, basically.
Fair enough, mate. That's enough from me. Fandango, you got anything else to say?
No, we're all good, mate. Just we can wrap it up now, I suppose. We're all good.
Yeah, so
one thing. I will try no line for next game.
Oh, that's a big commitment, Steve. A lot of practice has to go into that one.
I know there are big plans going on within the IRT at the moment with that.
Oh, it'll be very interesting to see. So, thank you so much, Fandango. 2 races in a row, commentator. It's been an absolute pleasure. Glad you got to experience Tier 1 racing.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on for the last couple of races. Probably just just from me, because it's the last race of the season, probably to just say the thank yous. It's probably worth saying at this point, just for the people that admin the league, the runners, the people like the stewards. There's people that have individual roles in CRL that also help with administration, commentating, some of the administrative side of things. So I think they all deserve a shout out for the last race of the season, because they do a great job. People are taking time out of their day to do things like steward meetings on Friday nights, and there's a lot to get through at times. So for everybody that's involved in any of that, it's a thank you from me and probably everyone at CRL for the time that you take for it. And yeah, that's all from me. Thanks very much for having me.
My words exactly. And to the commentators I've had previously, which is Harvey Lees, I had Orange and Gamma, and Scott. Scott's been my main co-commentator. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So I want to say to Scott, if you are watching this race or later, it's been a massive pleasure to commentate with you. I can't do it all again. This partnership with me and you commentators has been absolutely fantastic. So hopefully you hear these words and get well soon and come back stronger. And that's it from me. Thank you so much again for Fandango for commentating.
Thank you.
And round it off then for the last race. We'll see you all in 2022.